enjoyable
season.
experiences I've had watching football under Andy Reid. Yes.
Yeah, I'm of football we've seen from any team in the 2025 season, like any game, like in the first half combined. It was that. And yet they ended up winning by 13 points and covering because of the second half. And we'll get into the difference between the two halves. But it was so bizarre in the first half because I felt like even compared to the Chargers game, they looked like a team just had no composure. To me, at that time, they didn't look very well coached.
Nope.
You didn't have some of your leaders making the plays they have to make. You had everything that could go wrong kind of stuff happening. You had your Jawan Taylor penalty. You had your sideline blow-up, which we'll get into that a little bit later on in the show. You had Mahomes making a throw he really shouldn't have made. It had everything in the first half. And thank goodness they were playing the New York Giants. That's all I could say about the first half of that game.
It was genuinely awful to watch. We were just texting. Anybody I was texting with was like, what a miserable experience this is to watch this first half of football. Like everything out of sync, as you had previously mentioned. Nothing looked comfortable or right. And while the second half was significantly better, I'm not trying to, significantly better. Mahomes was better. The offense was better. The defense was equally as good. I don't like that the Chiefs continue to play in football games that make it feel like two teams who are 0-2 playing like two teams who are 0-2. I'm used to the Chiefs looking like a fundamental organization of winning because, Gold, that's all they've done. Watching the first half of football, if I had dropped you in out of nowhere and tried to convince you that that was a team who had played in 5 of the last 6 Super Bowls, you'd have thought I was nuts and still had their starting quarterback available to them. Not rolling out some backup. It's like, what are we doing in this first half? It was not a tale of two halves. They were better in the second half, which I'll take. But it is hard to just wash away what I watched in the first half.
It wasn't so much just, you mentioned 5 of 6 seasons. It was the fact that virtually the same roster won 15 games last year. And then to watch that first half and you're saying, honestly, retroactively, Andy Reid should be coach of the year. And Patrick Mahomes retroactively should be MVP. That's how I felt in the first half. Yeah. How did this same squad, virtually the same squad, win 15 games? That's what I was thinking at halftime. And then, as you said, things changed in the second half, and I felt like that opening drive in particular to start the second half was their best drive of the season. And we can, as the week goes on, as we get former players on the show, and we talk to Damian Hughes, and we talk to Nate Taylor and others throughout the week, get their more detailed perspective on exactly what they thought was different. But just for the casual eye watching that first drive to open up the second half, you notice there was more balance. You notice that Brashard Smith was on the field a little bit. They did a little misdirection. It was their best.
A few tackles.
It was their best looking drive of the entire season. That drive right there is what gives you hope that even while you're waiting for Worthy and Rice to get back in the picture, are they capable of doing that? That's the first time all year that they had a drive. You're like, you know what? That'll work. That'll play even with the current grouping of personnel where we know how limited they are. I mean, that's just the reality of it. They are very limited personnel-wise currently on offense.
And it still took a great throw on third down to get the touchdown and not settle for another field goal, by the way. A dart, a missile in for the end zone. And look, Mahomes still had to do some Mahomes stuff. That play before half that they get the eventual PI on, he made 2 defenders miss, got all the way to the sideline, then threw the ball 65 yards down the football field in order just to get the call for Hollywood Brown that got him 3 points before half. So there was still some do some superhero stuff. Look, in reality, it's not even that hard to diagnose what the issues are for the Chiefs right now. They don't run the ball very well. The offensive line is not playing nearly as good enough as it needs to, and they don't have enough weapons. It's not hard to diagnose where their issues are coming from or what are the consistent issues coming from. I think we can all see it. The question is whether or not they're ever going to snap out of this and if they're going to hit a point where you can actually trust this team to be consistent on offense. That first half, Gold, it was so bad that I felt like if they ended up losing that game or even just winning 12-9 or whatever the hell it was pacing for in the early going, I think it was getting hard to keep coming into the show and be like, I'll wait for my judgment on the offense until Worthy and Rice coming back. Because that first half, no one, Randy Moss in his prime wasn't saving the first half offensively of that team.
Yeah, penalties, mistakes all across the board. I mean, play calling, it was a complete effort in terms of bad football. Complete effort from everybody to contribute to that offensively in the first half. I mean, even one moment in the game where I think it was, I don't know if it was a third down play, but It was a tight end screen out to Travis Kelce. And in the year 2025, what are you hoping to get out of that? Like maybe 5 or 6 years ago, that works. I don't
going to
know.
have to make miss.
Right. And just where he's at, athletically at this stage of his career, that play should not exist for Travis Kelce at this point in his career, as far as I'm concerned. And so there were moments like that throughout the entire first half. But I really do think that second half opening drive is what you should be kind of grasping onto if you're looking at.
If you're trying to feel optimistic, I would.
Well, that was the personnel they're going to have for another 4 weeks, Cody, and they're capable of doing that, and they did it against a pretty darn good front against the Giants. That's your drive that you look at and say, okay, they're capable of doing that. And you noticed it had, as I said, the balance. There was all of a sudden they went under center. There was also a screen pass that was worked in. I mean, it was like everything that everybody's been kind of saying. Can you work in a little bit more? And it was successful as well.
It's so much of it is just. You're right. If I want to feel, they got 3 more weeks until Rice comes back. Maybe Worthy comes back this week. We can talk about it later. I thought he was going to come back on Sunday, only to find out he once again was a scratch before they even got to the game. He was a limited participant the entire week, was a scratch on Saturday, didn't even travel with the squad. So they were obviously further behind than I was thinking on where they were going to be with Xavier Worthy, because I thought there was a chance he'd come back. Now, they did enough in the second half that I will still cling to the hope that there is a good NFL offense inside this team somewhere that exists. It doesn't feel that way right now, even in the second half. But you're right. That second half of the drive was their best drive of the game. And look, Taekwon Thornton, while I'm not trying to claim he's a superstar who's now going to be a future NFL Hall of Famer, he is clearly their best receiver right now. He has given them real juice in the wide receiver room. And I think by the time, and I don't know how the roles are going to work out, so we can get into that maybe too, but I think pretty clearly he's made himself what should be the 3rd highest targeted guy once Worthy and Rice are even back in the fold, because he's done a nice job getting open deep. So at least they found something on offense that works.
Even in the 2 losses, I think we talked about it a little bit last week, but in the 2 losses, if you were looking for anything positive on offense, really the only thing you could find was that through the first 2 weeks, they were able to, multiple times a game, scheme open, or at least just say, hey, Taekwon Thornton's going to run past the guy. Get Taekwon Thornton open down the field. They did it in week 1, even though they lost the game. They did it in week 2, as we all saw, in the overthrow, and then they eventually connected. And then we obviously saw it play out a few times. And Taekwon held up the I got it.
That's a great photo.
Yeah, it is. And he joked about, he was asked about the celebration. He's like, I was just letting everybody know that I had it, letting the sideline know so nobody had to worry that I caught it this time. He's been somebody they have been able to get open. You can see why Patrick Mahomes is excited about him, because he's got an opportunity to throw the ball down the field. You know, we saw it a little bit towards the end of last season with Worthy, and that's the part where maybe we'll get to see it this Sunday. We'll see. But do they have 2 guys, legitimately, 2 guys now down the field that you can say Mahomes has an opportunity to go and stretch the field with? Because that's been, like, overall the issues that exist. So much of it is still, do they have anybody to stretch the field to make it easier for the guys in the intermediate routes? Well, Taekwon Thornton is now 3 weeks in a row put on tape. Clearly, he's a threat. Clearly. And this was the biggest threat in a primetime stage now on Sunday Night Football with everybody watching. And so I think that's huge. There's no doubt right this second when it's him and it's Brown and it's Juju and Remigio basically and Kelce, Thornton is their biggest playmaker on the field currently. And that is wild to say, like back up to months ago and everything, but that's the reality. Taekwon Thornton, in a roundabout way, because of that catch, you could argue if this season ends up going the way you hope it still goes, he may have saved their season, Cody, by making that catch.
Well, and Mahomes may have saved the season when he slapped the ball at the defender's hand from his own mistake, but also I am not ignoring that Isaiah Pacheco was turned around backwards on that play for what seemingly is no reason, so we can get to that too. Taekwon is interesting because overall, it's objectively, I think, a negative. The Taekwon Thornton, a wide receiver who is on a 3-14, wide receiverless New England Patriots team who was cut, is your number 1 weapon. That cannot be good. Like, just overall, that cannot speak volumes about where you are offensively. But if all of a sudden you're telling me that Rashee Rice, who can be a top 20 wide receiver in the Chiefs' mind, and I think can be, Xavier Worthy, who had a tremendous second half to his rookie year, and now all of a sudden Taekwon Thornton is a complementary piece to the offense, now you can talk me into like building a little bit of something. But in the meantime, he is kind of a saving grace because like they don't have a lot of guys to throw to. And Taekwon has made himself a viable target for Patrick Mahomes. And he deserves a ton of credit for that.
No doubt. And Mahomes clearly trusts him, right, to be able to continue to throw it down the field at the rate they are. But they have been able to get him open. They're going to continue, I think, to get him open down the field. You mentioned, hey, when Worthy and Rice are on the same field. So let's fast forward to week 8 or so when everybody's there and hopefully they're healthy and the whole grouping is there. What does his role look like? He clearly is going to have the deep threat all year, right? That's going to be his role. The question will be, and this is where like I don't even know if the depth chart really matters, Cody. You know, you were saying like,
it's just routes and
you said I think he should be higher on the depth chart than Hollywood Brown in a month or two when he's there. I don't even know if I care where he's at on the depth chart because I think it's more about continuing to take the shots down the field. Maybe he will develop into more of an all-around receiver, but he is probably not going to be an intermediate guy for this team and short passes and move the chains type of guy. I say that, and yesterday he did come up with 3 big third down catches. But when everybody's in the mix, I still think he's still going to be viewed as a deep threat. Well, they're going to go to Rice. You know, to me, Hollywood Brown was still going to have a role in this team. I don't think we should now, just 3 weeks in, act as if Hollywood Brown's suddenly just not going to find himself on the football field in a month. I don't believe that. If he's healthy, Hollywood Brown will be on the field. But in terms of taking shots multiple times a game, Taekwon Thornton is going to continue to do that, and there's no reason why they would pivot from that.
I just think it'd be more of a timeshare than originally thought. Taekwon, although he was our Camp Darling, winner of the initial Camp Darling Island, if you had told me what his total receiving yardage is now, Gold, I would have told you that wasn't going to be way off of what I thought he'd get for the season. Like maybe after the Rashee Rice suspension, I would have changed the number a little bit. But like I thought Taekwon Thornton was going to be like a 300-yard guy on the year. Like a contributor that you catch a couple of deep balls to. He already has 171 yards. More importantly than anything is the deep pass. Not for small reason. They had Xavier Worthy on this team last year. They, for 2 years, are the worst deep play, big play team probably in the NFL that matters, let's say. There are probably 5 or 6 teams that are worse at it. The low lifes of the NFL who are worse at it. But his average depth of target is like 25 yards down the field. His average reception is 19 yards per catch all day with that. He only has 9 catches on the year. Yeah. It feels like way more than that. Because every catch he makes is for 19 yards, so you absolutely feel it. And so at the end, they've already found this is the one bright side we talk about anytime like you're missing a player, is that Taekwon Thornton's role now. When everyone's back and everything's back here, we're talking week 7, right? Because Rashee Rice actually gets a return to the practice field halfway through your suspension. You get a return to the practice field. So Rashee Rice.
No, he's not at the practice field. He's in the facility. Go to meetings.
Right. See, I don't practice week up. Maybe is what it is.
I think that's what it is.
So he's back. He's back in the facility. Rashee Rice is around. So like you can feel okay, we're only a couple of weeks away. Rashee Rice is around the corner. You found out what Taekwon Thornton does well for you, and you can use that. Like that's a real thing. That's a real part of the weapon. I just wasn't. I'm like with almost zero uncertainty. He is already a better wide receiver for this team than Hollywood Brown. Like, I don't have any...
He's done more to this point, and it's only 3 games in.
Yeah,
I mean, and a lot of it is because Hollywood Brown barely played last season, so what's funny is it's not like Taekwon Thornton's played that many fewer games than Hollywood Brown has in a Chiefs uniform. I mean, that's the other part of the whole deal. I mean, yes, who has, to this point, contributed more to winning a football game in their career, in a Chiefs career? Taekwon Thornton, absolutely. There's no argument with that.
And they have a similar amount of yardage.
Right.
This year.
Right. Yeah, I think Taekwon Thornton is going to have a key role throughout the entire season. And it could end up being a wide receiver room that we look at in a month or so from now. And say, you know what? Actually, we went from, being just dreadful and lack of personnel all over the place to there is that scenario where
everybody
all of a sudden Worthy has his role, and Rice, we know what he can be. And then you have Taekwon, and then you have Hollywood Brown, who is a nice intermediate wide receiver for you. And the pressure that is on any of those guys is far less if they're all on the field at the same time. And then not to mention, if Travis Kelce is going to really just be more of an occasional third down, move the chains guy at this point of his career, all right, that works if you have everybody else and their ability. I mean, there's the whole
Travis is going to be getting single coverage from linebackers if the wide receiver unit lives up to the hype. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think the the question on the running game is still valid, and we'll get to that at some point later on today and throughout the week. We're just talking about the receiving game right now. But it's hard not to be excited to see what Taekwon Thornton has done. And, yeah, it is funny. He was the official Camp Darling of 2025.
The first time we did Camp Darling Island, and somehow, well, in fairness, it was a runaway. Taekwon Thornton won the award fairly easily, I would say, all things considered. I didn't think his level, I thought they'd have to rely on, we did this conversation before the season. Who is the biggest beneficiary of Rashee Rice's absence? Who's going to get the targets? We mentioned Travis Kelce. We mentioned Hollywood Brown.
Juju,
we
even
mentioned
at times.
Juju Smith-Schuster. On this show, I don't think we got deep into the Taekwon Thornton part.
Patrick Mahomes last night was asked about Taekwon, and Patrick Mahomes says he's exceeded it after working out in Texas. Now, remember, he went down to Texas, Camp Pat, and all that. Taekwon was there and everything because Taekwon was signed towards the end of last season. Remember that actually looks like a genius move now in terms of already getting him in before last season even ended, based on now what you've seen the rapport between him and Mahomes. But Mahomes admitted that Taekwon's exceeded his expectations as well. So this is, anybody in the organization, thinking that this is what he would be immediately, I don't know if that's even true. I think he's surprised everybody. And he's, of course, been pressed into more action due to the Worthy injury and, of course, the Rashee Rice suspension, which they probably had somewhat of an idea that was going to eventually happen. So it gives you some hope. Later on in the week, we'll talk about Baltimore. We'll see what Baltimore looks like tonight. But it gives you some hope that potentially, is there a chance that the offense can put something together? That first half, is that the worst first half we're going to see all year? Is that it? That's got to be it, right? That's got to be it?
Gold? It better be.
They're lucky they played the Giants, honestly, last night. They're
correct.
Lucky.
They are very fortunate. Very fortunate.
We talked about it last week. There is nothing from that game that I can come out of other than maybe Taekwon Thornton making a play that should make me feel like they're beating the Ravens this week.
Yeah.
There's nothing from that game.
We did that conversation
Well, there's the defense aspect, which we'll get to as well. The defense is now for 8 straight quarters look pretty damn good, but I hear you on the offense.
Yeah, the offensive end as far as like keeping up with Baltimore. Now, we're going to look at Baltimore tonight. Mm-hmm. Obviously, they take them on. That better be the worst half of football I have to watch all year on offense. Or just in general. It was just so...
Worst half of NFL football from any two teams, please.
I can't even begin to describe how miserable of an experience it was for seemingly everyone as a collective. Every single person just being like, what is this grotesque version of football that we are being forced to watch? And then at the end of the game, again, you mentioned the Giants thing. This is where it comes into, is you get Russell Wilson in you're down multiple scores. You are definitely like dead. You're dead in the water anyway, so you might as well try to make something happen. He puts 3 balls into like the 10th row of the stands. He doesn't even try. It looked like all 3 passes he was attempting to throw it to a piece of equipment on the sideline, not a wide receiver.
Yeah, there's
including on 4th down.
Yeah, there's no reason for Russ to start another football game in a Giants uniform. Yeah, the Chiefs were fortunate in that regard. The Giants are not well coached and their quarterback's a mess. Yeah. Just not a good football team. Did the Chiefs figure some things out last night? I do actually think they did. It doesn't mean that I think, everything is good to go and now they're going to roll off 10 wins in a row. No, not what I'm saying at all. But they clearly have a legit deep threat in Thornton. They should get Worthy back soon. They will get Rashee Rice back in a couple weeks as well. And their defense is playing some really good football. Yes, that does give me some hope. As brutal it was in the first half to watch, and some of the other issues that I don't know if they are fixable. There's some things that are. There's some others that I don't know if they are. Most notably, once again, Jawan Taylor on the right tackle side getting a penalty. Could have been called for illegal formation probably 5 other times in the game.
Literally the snap after he was called for it. He could have been called for it again.
The broadcast had a graphic ready to go for Chris Collinsworth to break down. Everybody knew it was coming. Of course, our Monday football coverage presented by Busey Bank, where they're focused on your success at Busey Bank. They've been building businesses and growing wealth since 1868. Learn more at buseybank.com. On Friday's show, we were talking about how this NFL weekend could have been chaotic and weird, and certainly the way that 1 o'clock window of games or noon window of games ended, it was chaos, and block kick, return kicks. It was insane. There's a lot of
field goals.
A lot of backup quarterbacks that were playing this weekend. You had Carson Wentz playing for the Vikings, for McCarthy, Browning for Burrow, and Mac Jones for Brock Purdy, Tyrod for Justin Fields, and you had Mariota for Jaden Daniels.
It was a lot for week 3.
3 of them got wins. Carson Wentz, Mac Jones, Mariota, Tyrod Taylor, Jake Browning got the L's. We were having a conversation that went way too in-depth last Friday about the backups and who's the best or the worst.
I look smart for 1 week.
The answer is it's not Jake Browning.
He was awful. Drew, your team got killed.
Yeah, the worst loss in franchise history.
Killed.
Probably the worst I've ever seen them play in my lifetime. It was really bad.
Carson Wentz carved him up.
It wasn't even, to me, it wasn't the defense. It was the offense that put the defense in positions where eventually they just laid down and it was over.
Yeah, it was definitely one of those.
It was so bad on offense.
This is where I give the Chiefs a lot of credit. They don't just very rarely do they just get run out of a building. It happens every once in a while, but it is rare. They get run out of a building.
All it took was a half for that to happen.
We had that really lengthy conversation last week about backup quarterbacks. I wasn't trying to I think sometimes Drew thinks I'm doing it again, I understand I'm not. I said I would have taken Jake Browning as the fourth guy out of 5.
And I think I would have had him higher on the list.
Quarterback. And you said you would have had him third. You'd have had him in the middle of the pack. Drew said he would have had him first. I only feel emboldened by that based on what I saw over the weekend. Carson Wentz is better for the Vikings right now because he's a functional NFL quarterback who can run an offense. Mac Jones, given the right circumstances, can look passable. He was not perfect in that 49ers.
No, he threw a terrible pick late.
Yeah, and that game was hideous to watch. So I'm not saying he was perfect either. Washington was up so easy. Mariota barely had to lift a finger in order to get him a win. But Jake Browning gave the game away by the end of the first quarter. It didn't matter. That game was done.
It didn't help when
3 fumbles and 3 plays.
fumbled and Chase Brown fumbled and Jamar Chase fumbled. It was really bad.
It was that was the Bengals. That's what that performance was.
Yeah.
That's
a
what
very
they
fair
were.
analysis.
That was what they looked like. They're
5
not
turnovers.
They're 2-1. Carson Wentz is going to be the starter there for Minnesota for a couple more weeks, at least, with the McCarthy injury. Jake Browning, obviously, the starter for at least 3 months. Mac Jones, I think Purdy's back next week. Tyrod Taylor, I don't know if it really matters. It's the Jets. And then Marcus Mariota, Jaden Daniels could miss 1 more week. We'll see. I don't think it's a long-term deal there, but
the Jets are crazy because they easily could be 2-1. Instead, they're 0-3. Easily could be 2-1.
They keep blowing.
The Jets are just
and the cardiac kids, the Tampa Bay Bucks,
3-0.
And all 3 they could have easily lost. They could be 0-3 to go with it. I will say, Drew, you should just have the Bengals funeral now. It's over. Their next 4 games are Broncos, Lions, Packers, Steelers. It's done.
Yeah, it's rough. It's tough.
Done, dude.
It's tough.
It's done. That's not gonna go great.
It is, if
That's not gonna go
if
well.
they lose,
where's that Hooters outfit? You want to go ahead and start trying it on to see if it'll fit for a couple months?
if they lose if they lose the next 4 games, they should go ahead and get ready to draft the best player in the draft.
Yeah, you should be hoping they lose.
The 7th pick.
Yeah,
with the 6th or 7th pick, they'll pick the best player in the draft. That's fine by me.
Again, for those that don't know, the bet has nothing to do with the Chiefs. It was strictly would the Bengals make the playoffs or not. Unfortunately for Drew, Joe Burrow got hurt.
I will say this though, if the
that
Chiefs,
was the bet. That was the bet. Had nothing to do with Kansas City. You were very confident that they were making the playoffs.
I do have something saved in the bank for if the Chiefs somehow miss the playoffs.
Okay. Okay. Saved in the bank, as in audio bank, or you
audio
think
bank?
you
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Gotcha.
A collection of takes from the 2 of you.
Oh, that's fine.
About the Chiefs or about Cincinnati?
No, the Chiefs.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Oh,
I was definitely off on how they've looked so far this year.
Yeah.
We will not be alone in that department.
If you're asking me to give you an update, do I think the Chiefs are making the playoffs? Yes. Yes, I do.
Yes.
You can hear
I also think they will.
Some new audio for you. The Chiefs will still make the playoffs despite a 1-2 start on September 22nd.
It would be stunning if they did not make the playoffs. It would be.
I'm not worried about that. I'm really not. If they would have lost last night, different conversation.
They were missing the playoffs.
Who do they have the next 2? They got the Ravens and then Jags, right?
Schedule's brutal.
And Jags are no pushover. They're not great, but they're not a pushover. They're not as bad as the Giants. How about that? Is that a compliment? Feels like a compliment.
They're not as bad as a lot of teams that we saw yesterday. If
all right,
what we saw yesterday is any indication for how the rest of the years are going to go.
Up next, we will talk about the defense that shut down Malik Neighbors and has played very, very well the last 8 quarters. But let's talk about someone that has been so important during this run for the Chiefs. But is it a problem now? That's next.
This is Cody and Gold. Tune in for Nate Taylor every Tuesday at 1 o'clock, right here on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. Cody and Gold are brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
For nearly 100 years, Busey Wealth Management has helped families and businesses make smart financial decisions that stand the test of time. From personalized investment plans to tax strategies that work for you, we take a big picture approach, connecting you with the right experts to help protect what you've built and plan for what's next. Busey Wealth Management, here for every chapter of your financial story.
Fall's the best time of year to clean up the outside of your home or business, and the best way to do that is with a fresh coat of paint from my friends at CertaPro Painters. You want your home or business to make a great impression, and that starts with the exterior. And when you choose CertaPro Painters, you're choosing the best in the business for your job. CertaPro Painters go the extra mile. If there's a way to save you money, they'll let you know, and they take care of every detail from start to cleanup. So do what we did and schedule your free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated.
Hi, I'm Becca, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. As an in-house designer, I can't wait for you to see our incredible selection of stylish and stackable rings. If you're shopping for your wedding bands, we have high-quality designs for every style and budget, from romantic to modern. If you're looking to add to a stack, your options are endless. Discover styles with clusters of gemstones, sleek all-metal designs, updated cigar bands, and signet rings perfect for an engraving. Because a friend knows you like options. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Hey, Chiefs fans, Crown Royal is the official whiskey of the Kansas City Chiefs. And this season, it's not game day without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. Whether you're at the tailgate, in the stands, or watching from home, Crown Royal is the reason and the reward for coming together. Grab a glass with the Crown Royal rig at a stadium near you, because we'll be sharing the generous spirit with fans across the country. Crown Royal, fueling game day with a generous spirit. Visit www.crownroyal.com/royal rig for more on the Crown Royal Rig Tour. Please drink responsibly.
I'm Mitch Holtis, voice of the Kansas City Chiefs. Choosing the best doctor for your eyes is one of the most important medical decisions you'll ever make. Whether you're considering blade-free LASIK, all laser cataract surgery, and premium lens implants, or want a world-renowned doctor to help with your glaucoma, macular degeneration, dry eyes, or diabetes, trust my doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein. Call Silverstein Eye Centers to make an appointment, 816-358-3600. Experience the best eye care in Kansas City.
Morning, Zoe. Got donuts.
Jeff Bridges, why are you still living above our garage?
Well, I dig the mattress, and I want to be in a T-Mobile commercial like you. Teach me, Sildana.
Oh, no, I'm not really prepared. I couldn't possibly. At T-Mobile, get the new iPhone 17 Pro on them. It's designed to be the most powerful iPhone yet and has the ultimate pro camera system.
Wow, impressive. Let me try. T-Mobile is the best place to get iPhone 17 Pro because they've got the best network.
Nice, Jeffrey.
You heard them. T-Mobile is the best place to get the new iPhone 17 Pro on us with eligible trade-in in any condition.
So, what are we having for lunch?
Dude, my work here is done.
24 monthly bill credits on experience beyond for well-qualified customers plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Credits ended. Balance due if you pay off earlier. Cancel. Finance agreement iPhone 17 Pro 256 gigs, $1,099.99 and new line minimum $100 plus a month plan with auto pay plus taxes and fees required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data 1H2025. Visit T-Mobile.com.
Do Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keep coming back? Tremfya, guselkumab, may help, with rapid remission achieved at 12 weeks and lasting clinical remission at 1 year. Some even saw visible improvement of their intestinal lining at 12 weeks and 1 year. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Healing is possible with Tremfya. Approximately 3 out of 10 patients were in endoscopic remission at 1 year, based on areas visualized on colonoscopy, which may not represent the deeper bowel layer or entire GI tract. Individual results may vary. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Chiefs coverage brought to you by Metal by the Foot, your metal project superstore.
Where can you find an extensive line of Blue Demon welding supplies, filler, rods, and wire? Metal by the Foot, located in Casey and Topeka. Online at metalbythefoot.com. When you need a piece of metal, remember, metal doesn't have to cost an arm or a leg, just the foot.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
40-yard attempt by Butker near hash. He's hit it from 54, but that hit the left upright, caromed over. Then he's got another field goal of 48. This is a 40-yarder from the near hash, trying to get points out of the turnover. The interception by Christian Roland Wallace. Snap is down, and Butker's kick. It's to the right, and it is wide right. No good.
Mitch Holthus on the call right here on 96.5 The Fan yesterday. We'll get into the defense here in about 8 minutes or so, but I think now 3 weeks from the season, when you've had as many misses as Harrison Butker has had, I think it's worth a conversation, and curious to get your guys' thoughts on the text line as well, of how concerned you are with Harrison Butker. Is this a real problem for the Chiefs and their kicking game going forward? We all know there are plenty of bigger issues with this team, right, that we've discussed the first
the only issue,
3 weeks by no means isn't, and maybe that's why the attention to it is not going to be as high as it would be in a year where everybody else was at a high level and this would be the only thing. But 4 missed kicks in 3 games, I don't know any other city, any other football team that it would not be a conversation, right? So this to me is not crazy at all to be discussing what I think is a legitimate issue right now. Everybody understands throughout his career, he was responsible for some of the biggest kicks in the NFL over the last 20 years. That's a fact. Yep. It just is some of the biggest kicks. This team doesn't go to a couple of these Super Bowls without his leg knocking through a couple long field goals in AFC title games. That is
Had to make a whole bunch of kicks against Philly the first time they won that Super Bowl.
That is all true. He, to me, has still been one of the more clutch kickers in NFL history. But when you miss 4 kicks in 3 games, it's a problem.
I think it's, and maybe it's too early to call. I think he's not the same Harrison Butker, and I don't know that he's ever going to be the same Harrison Butker. He hasn't been right for well over an entire year. We're talking about Gold, we're starting to come in on a year and a half of Harrison Butker not looking like the same kicker as before. And part of this was the postseason stuff has thrown me off. It should absolutely be a huge topic. Now, we can just start the topic real quick with, well, then just get rid of him. Bad news on that front. He is owed a ton of money this year and would be a ton of money to cut. He is owed a ton of money next year and would be a ton of money to cut. It would actually cost you more money to get rid of Harrison Butker by $3 million than it would be to keep Harrison Butker on your team next year.
Yeah.
So that part of the equation is probably just you're going to have to live with this for a little bit. But what I think has happened here, and I was guilty of it as well, what I think has happened is here, we've allowed his postseason success to skew the kind of kicker he's been for the better part of 5 or 6 years. In the last 5 years, this is what he is. Right now, he's 23rd in the NFL in field goal percentage at 77.8%. That's a bad percentage, by the way. Not that that surprises you. Last year, he finished 20th in field goal percentage. He missed 3 games, but he only made 84% of his kick. That's also bad. In 2023, he is the 5th best. 94.3% of his kicks. Now, that means there were 4 guys who made more than that. Kudos to them, by the way. But he made a huge percentage of his kicks. They won the Super Bowl that year, too. We're all probably fine. 2022, 30th of qualified kickers in field goal percentage. Only made 75% of his kicks. Also missed 3 games that year. 89% in 2021, 92%. I think it's pretty easy to figure it out here. He got hurt in 2022, and he's been broken pretty much ever since. Or he's hurt again, and in the 2 previous years in which he was hurt and not good, that's what happened here.
Yeah, he had the knee drop thing again last night on one of the kicks too. And I believe he made that kick.
It was the one that went off the upright.
Yeah, it was still a doink. It went in, but that was the one. So I don't know if he's not healthy, and Dave Toub will speak later on this week. I don't know if we're going to find out that the knee is a problem again. But yeah, the numbers, it is very clear there's been a drop-off. He's now, since then, still made the big postseason kicks and all that. And I still think if you're asking me, compared to go picking up a kicker off the street, I don't trust some other kicker to make a clutch kick. This is more of an off-season conversation as far as I'm concerned. It is a problem in this season, no doubt. But I don't think the solution exists in season. You have other teams that have already made kicking changes for kickers that don't have any track record, right? I think the Niners cut Jake Moody after 1 week, and now they got Eddie Pinheiro, who's been on probably 15 teams at this point in time in the NFL. So there's not really better options out there. It's an off-season convo, but the financials are the financials. And when you're paid like the highest paid kicker in the league and like the best kicker in the league, and these are the numbers, it's problematic in a team that has soon to be a new contract for your quarterback in the offseason. Trent McDuffie's need to get paid in the offseason. It's a reason why they moved on also from Tommy Townsend. They couldn't afford to have the highest paid punter, the highest paid kicker in football. And so now they have Matt Araiza, who also, by the way, looks to have fixed some of his issues with punting from last season. So that's a positive sign with the special teams unit. But the percentages are pretty startling to see spread out over the last couple of years. And it is now the point where before you would just trust Butker no matter what to make the kick. Like that was the thought process in Kansas City. I don't think you can feel that way. Doesn't mean that on Sunday he can't kick a 60-yarder to win a game. No, but he also might miss the 45-yarder now. That's the difference for me.
So, like, the postseason stuff is very true. But I looked at over the same time that he's been making these postseason kicks, last like 5-6 years. There's about 10 guys in the NFL who makes kicks at that rate. I'm not saying that
longer kicks than
I'm
ever.
not saying that, like, I'm just saying, like, 90%, about a third of the league kicks at that rate. So, like, was he just one of the 10 best kickers and he was just kicking like one of the 10 best kickers in the postseason and 10 other guys would have made those kicks? I don't know. I can't erase his big postseason kicks and give them to somebody else just because they hit that normal percentage. But you're right in the sense that they're going to have to sweat it. And if he was a cheap kicker, they would be talking about bringing in a kicker this week. If he was a cheap kicker and one that they could get rid of financially, this week we would get the headline just like Pinheiro, and it would say, Chiefs bring in kicker to practice this week. Let's see what they got. That's probably how this would be going.
It's that, and if they didn't have,
wasn't for that,
it's that. But also, they have the same special teams coordinator throughout his entire career. Yeah. He does have the history of winning games for them. So all that is why I don't think they're doing anything right this second. But if another game happens, I mean, 3 weeks to me is enough for a kicker to have 4 kicks missed. Like that's enough to, warning signs should be all over the place at this point. But does it take him, truly missing a shot at a truly a game-winning kick? I understand there's been 3 games where you look at the Eagles and they lose by 3 points and you can pinpoint the miss there. I'm saying, will it take it's Baltimore and the Chiefs drive down with 30 seconds to go.
It's a 40-yarder to win.
And it's a 40-yarder to win and he misses it, or a 35-yarder to win, he misses it. Will it take that for people that are still skeptical about his struggles to be on board? I hope he rights the ship. I'm a little concerned he's not healthy, Cody. I'm worried that
the previous 2 really
I'm
bad
a little
years
worried that the knee is a problem again, and that would be less correctable.
Is
this
that
season.
something? So I wonder if that's because he was trying to kick through the issues. That's why he was going down to
the knee.
The knee. I wonder if that's not like the reason he did it last night. Not to say because he might be hurt for all we know. Could that also be something where it's like he got so used to just doing that to help support his leg where it's just muscle memory now where it might throw it and it's actually making it harder for him to make these field goals where every now and then the muscle memory, he'll just go down to the knee and he pushes it. Because a lot of the field goals, it seems like if he's missed right.
Yeah, pretty consistently.
It seems
and
like.
Look, and I'll point out, like the text line says it too, 816, Mike Vanderjagt. Like a lot of times it's like any other, kickers are not immune to this different than anyone else. Like one day, Justin Tucker wasn't as good as he wasn't Justin Tucker anymore. He was a good kicker.
That was a couple years ago.
He was a fine NFL kicker. Take out the personal stuff aside for a minute, just talking about the kicking part of it. He wasn't the same guy as he was before. But Drew, the injury stuff, it's not hard to figure out. Gold, do I think he's hurt? Yes. In the last 6 years, in the 3 years, he did not miss a single game. He made 92, 89, and 94% of his kicks. In the 2 years, he missed games. 75 and 84%. So far, he's making 77. Seems like there's a pretty good chance Harrison Butker's dinged up. He's hurt. His knee's hurt. Something's hurt. Based on just historical evidence over the last 6 years, when he misses games, he misses kicks.
Yeah, it's going to be something to watch through most of the season now, it seems like. And will that eventually impact how Andy Reid calls a third down, goes for it on a fourth down? We'll see as the season goes on. Right now, I'm sure he'll be asked about it at noon when you hear Andy Reid speak, and I'm sure he'll say he's got all the confidence in the world in Harrison Butker and all that. But they probably wouldn't say publicly if he was hurt. That's one of those deals where like the player basically would have to acknowledge it, kind of thing. If it's an injury that you're playing through, this happens in baseball more than football. But I would have to come from Butker himself. They're not, the coaches are not going to use that as an excuse or anything like that. So it's a problem though, and I hope it's something that in a weird way, can heal up if it is an injury and you see a little bit more consistency from Butker. But 3 weeks in, four kicks would be a problem for any other franchise. In Kansas City, he's got a little bit more of a track record, obviously, as being one of the more successful kickers in clutch time and everything. So he gets a longer leash. Totally get it. But he is the highest paid kicker in football. There has to be still an expectation of the type of performance you get from your kicker when you're getting paid that kind of money. And someone says, hey, guys, he struggled at the beginning of the season in 2020. Guys, it's 2025. That was 5 years ago. Like, yes, he turned around in 2020, but to the point about, the age catches up eventually to everybody kind of thing, and sometimes you don't have it anymore. That was 5 years ago, with all due respect on that. Like, that to me is not a good example to use.
Over the last 4 years, he's a below average kicker on average. He's got 2 good years in there, 1 good year in there. But over the last 4 years, he is the, on average, 18th to 22nd best kicker in the NFL over the last 4 years in total. I don't care what he did in 2020. That was that was 5, almost 6 years ago. We're talking about a guy who's like that 19th best kicker, but the problem is also cost-benefit analysis, like you mentioned with the price. For the same reasons we're annoyed at Jawan Taylor, who we can get to in a minute, who is also a massive problem on this team, and cannot continue to be allowed to make mistakes every single week without any recourse. But, you can't be both the highest paid and below average. It doesn't work. If you're going to be below average or anything else in the kicking game, well, then be average paid, or be a rookie, or be low paid, or be something in between, not the highest paid kicker in football.
Coming up in 20 minutes, we'll talk about the AFC West that now has a team all alone atop the division. That, of course, is the Chargers, 3-0 with 3 division wins. We'll get into that Chargers-Broncos game a little bit, what we saw out of Bo Nix, what we continue to see out of Justin Herbert and the Chargers, their win yesterday out in L.A. On a positive note, because we obviously talked about Harrison Butker, that's clearly a concern. On a positive note, I will say this defense now has put together 8 quarters of really good football. It doesn't mean that I suddenly think they're just getting after the quarterback every snap without blitzing. No,
that's still the part of the game where I'm like, I'd like a little more pass rush. But
once again, Steve Spagnuolo, look at what happened in week 1 when guys were obviously out of their spots, not doing their job, miscommunication. To look fast forward now and heading into week 4 already, there's clearly been a jolt of confidence, I think, for some young players, and they're playing a few of them a little bit more. They, in the secondary, have been shutting down A.J. Brown, now Malik Neighbors. Malik Neighbors just had his lowest career receiving total ever. That's pretty impressive to this point in time. So I think the defense now, 8 quarters, has given me some confidence that I think they can continue to get better defensively. And they're going to have to. We talk about all the offensive issues. The defense, once again, is going to have to prop up the offense, at least for the time being. And we wondered after week 1, can that happen? Can they get there?
How quickly can they figure it?
And they did it very, very quickly.
Matt McMullen put out the stat this morning. Since week 1 of 2023, so 2 seasons plus, the 3 games this year, the Chiefs are the number 1 ranked point per game defense in the NFL. So, that probably speaks a lot, the volumes goal that you're talking about. Shutting down Malik Neighbors was their most impressive feat yet. Malik Neighbors is a star. He also is strong where you are weak. He's great in man coverage. He is great against smaller corners. The Chiefs have guys like Trent McDuffie, whose size is maybe the only thing that they can attack you regularly on when you're as good as he is. That should have been a difficult matchup. That man did not have a catch until the 3rd quarter, and it was 1 or 3 in the whole game, right? He had the 1, and then he got another one late garbage time when it really didn't matter, and he still had to earn that one. There was the pass interference call in which Trent McDuffie gave up. Oh, no, that was on Wandell. So, when you start looking at the entirety of it, they have played tremendous defense for 8 straight quarters, and that is without, I think, an elite-level pass rush. So the secondary, to me, deserves massive amounts of credit.
No doubt, the secondary. And to me, this is a Spags conversation once again.
The split safety coverage they ran in this game against Russell Wilson, nobody else was running.
Yeah, he's the best. Steve Spagnuolo is the best. The personnel that he has right now on the front should be better, but he's making it work with what he has. That's what you're supposed to do as a head coach. Figure it out. Here's the personnel. You still have to figure it out, and they have figured out game by game, right? The plan that they had against Russell Wilson will not be the plan, obviously, they're going to have Sunday against Lamar Jackson. Now, they have a decent track record, actually, of figuring out Lamar. I'm kind of excited because I think this defense is going to play well enough to give them a chance on Sunday. I don't know about the offense, but the defense, to me, is going to give them a chance to win against Baltimore because of what we continue to see. You notice that it's becoming clearer, the kind of the rotation, if you will, in the back end of that secondary, because Trent McDuffie was able to play inside a little bit more this past week because you know who's looked pretty good? Jalen Watson. Jalen Watson's been very
When
good
healthy, he's
the
very
last
good.
8 quarters.
Yep.
Noah Williams, Drew, playing a little bit more. He's becoming clearly the nickel corner for this team at this point in time. They trust him a little more. He's still probably a little grabby, a little handsy, and is fortunate not to get called on that. That's something to watch moving forward. But those 2 players stepping up has allowed Trent McDuffie to move around a little bit more. And obviously, Trent McDuffie's locking guys down anyway. But if it wasn't for a ball that was underthrown to Devonta Smith against the Eagles, they haven't given up anything to any wide receiver since week 1. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, they really haven't.
Quentin Johnson got him a little.
Well, in week 1, they
I guess.
had issues. Guys were nobody was in 15 yards of these guys.
Yeah, it didn't. Yeah, it was more like they had issues knowing where they were supposed to stand, I would say, more than they were having issues in coverage. It is a very good defense. Once again, very clearly a very good defense, despite the fact you would think that they'd be aging in a few areas. Chris Jones and Nick Bolton. And Nick Bolton's not old, but you know how it is in the NFL, where they try to move on from you in the little early going. Spags is incredible, man. I don't care. Every year when you do if you do a year in review with him, just give him whatever raise he wants. I still think because he's a defensive-minded guy, no one will ever give him another head coaching job, even though I think that might be a mistake because the players love him. And there is no team in the NFL, no coach in the NFL better at designing defense than Steve Spagnuolo.
Mm-hmm.
But pay him whatever the man wants because the only reason, and the Chiefs could easily be 2-1, 3-0. That's a stretch. I don't think they were ever really in the game against the Chargers. That's supposed to be
the defense was awful in week 1.
Yeah, that's a loss 99% of the time. Mahomes was the only reason they even had a slight chance in that game. But they could easily be 2-1 if the offense had come to the table because of what Steve Spagnuolo has done. I guess I have to assume that for the next 3 games, maybe they can just keep it ugly enough, like you said. Keep it ugly enough against the Lions and Amon-Ra and Lamar Jackson and Trevor Lawrence and crew. They're going to have some weapons go up against them in these next few weeks. They're going to have to figure out a way to continue to do this.
You feel like the defense to this point is by no means perfect and there's still issues, but they have come along quick enough to give you hope that, they're going to be in all these games while they wait for hopefully the offense to figure it out. And if the offense doesn't figure it out consistently, to me, they're still going to be in games because of the defense. Now, I don't know what's that win total look like. It's a different conversation. But the defense, as well coached as they are as a unit, and with what they have, to me, still personnel-wise in the secondary, because I think Jalen Watson is playing at a very high level to go along with McDuffie, which has kind of changed the game the last 2 weeks for them. Doing that is going to give them a chance to win some football games. So, that's to me, other than Taekwon Thornton, the 2 biggest positives out of the game last night. 1, Taekwon Thornton. 2, it's just that this defense for 8 quarters, to me, has played good enough football where they should be, at this point, capable of beating anybody from a defensive unit, right? Yeah. From a defensive unit. Offense is not good enough to beat anybody, But their defense, they could, to me, they can come up with a game plan that keeps them in a game with whether it's Baltimore or Detroit or whoever.
They played one of the most hideous halves of offensive football I've seen, maybe the most hideous half of football I've seen from them offensively in the Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes era. And they were winning at half. If you need some effort of defensive ability in this. They had multiple turnovers when they needed them the worst. They got sacks when they needed them the worst. George Karlaftis. Now, I don't understand why you're running run option plays with a 92-year-old Russell Wilson. Brian Dable's an idiot. So, good, but Karlaftis made the play.
He did.
Right? They are making their biggest plays at their biggest moments. But the thing that stands out to me, last thing on the defense I know, but the thing that stands out to me most, Gold, is there were times in which the defense started slow. We talked about with Spags. But there's also times with their defense where they used to be a little more bend, don't break. And it was we'll let you get in the red zone. We'll make you settle for a field goal. The last 8 quarters have not been that. They're just beating teams up. They're forcing them to punt. This game, they got the ball back. They're beating them up more than just, we'll let you get some and then we'll clamp down. No, they're kind of kicking their ass a little bit for a huge chunk of the half and forcing them into a lot of negative yards or negative situation plays. The only guy in offense who looked even slightly capable last night for the Giants was Scadaboo.
Yeah, he's fun to watch, isn't he?
Himself. He runs prime Peyton Hillis.
That's what he was at Arizona State. That's why people liked him. He's fun to watch, and it's hard not to like watching his style. I mean, he just runs dudes over. He's an old school type of back, high energy and all that. And I don't know how serious the Tyrone Tracy injury is for the Giants, but Scadaboo's clearly is going to continue to play more and more. He's one of their better playmakers on that offense.
I mean, I would just, I don't know why you wouldn't just start Scadaboo right now. Tyrone Tracy won the job for the same reason Scadaboo can win it now. Mm-hmm. They had running back. Tracy was around. He was the best guy running, so they gave him the job. It's not like Saquon. I mean, you can replace Tyrone Chase. It looked like he separated his shoulders, what it kind of looked like to me.
Yeah,
the way he was holding.
Not sure.
It felt like everybody was going down with shoulder injuries in the NFL. Like right after just felt like everybody was like holding their shoulder.
There was definitely, we can talk about later, there was definitely some key injuries in the NFL. James Conner looks like is out for the season.
Najee Harris out too.
Najee Harris.
It's a key injury, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean.
I just didn't think Najee was going to do like worlds for that offense.
No, I mean, Hampton hasn't done anything yet. He will now have every opportunity there with the Chargers.
He had a good game. He had an okay game yesterday. He was much better yesterday. Maybe that's just because he was on the field versus the other, but at least he was on the field. Honestly, it's nice to have a couple of nice things to say about the Chiefs and the fact that they got to win, Gold,
All right, now back to the problems, though. Offensive line again. We all know the Jawan Taylor thing. Jawan Taylor is very fortunate he wasn't called 4 or 5 times for illegal formation. NBC definitely had a graphic ready immediately for Chris Collins. Remember, he's who kind of started the whole spotlight on it. Now, Jawan Taylor is never adjusted, in fairness, so it's his problem. It's not Chris Collins' problem, NBC's problem or anything like that. But yet again, it happened. We're now into week 4. There was the quote after the week 1 game in which Matt Nagy said something along the lines of, like, we've made it, I'm paraphrasing.
On no uncertain terms.
Yeah, we've made it clear that, like, that it can't happen. Okay, so, or what? And as we said at the time, well, this year there's an option behind him. His name is Jalen Moore. And so are we any closer to that happening? Did they feel like otherwise he played good enough that they're confident in keeping him in the game? I told you I don't think we're going to see in-game switches. So the question to me will always be midweek. And then ultimately on game day, do we start to see, he's out there with the ones differently? People wanting the in-game switches, I don't think Andy's going to embarrass a veteran. He's pulled Kingsley before. That was a rookie. He gave Jawan Taylor 1 drive off a year or so ago. In terms of like actually removing him from the starting job, I don't think they're going to do that. So it has to be these midweek discussions, in my opinion.
If you had the public admonishment, this is the same as like being a parent. I can't tell my kid, if you do that again, you're grounded. And then they do it again and I don't ground them. What was the point, as you said in Matt Nagy's comments, if you're not benching him this week? He did it again, multiple times. He was guilty of multiple penalties again. And so, like...
He also didn't play that great either. He was getting beat as well.
Beat. Yes. Now, look, I think everyone... Like, Simmons got beat a couple... The offensive line was just not good. Simmons got beat a couple times. Kingsley got beat a couple of times, and so did Jawan Taylor. So did Trey.
I still maintain that the biggest frustration with the offense is offensive line. As much as it's the Jawan Taylor thing, it's also the 2 guys that you thought you just don't have to worry about. Creed Humphrey and Trey Smith. I don't think they have played that great the first 3 weeks of the season, guys.
They've not been 99% guys. I agree.
Yeah, like, and do I have confidence that they can get there? Yes, they have talking about track record, they have the track record. Trey Smith and Creed Humphrey have been some of the better offensive linemen, period, in football throughout their career. But right now, they're not playing like they're top 5 at their position or anything like that. And that hurts when you already have an issue at right tackle, when you're trying to bring along a second-year guard in Kingsley, when you have a rookie left tackle. I need my center and right guard that are 2 of the highest paid in football to play like it. I don't think they have played to their normal standard.
Mitchell Schwartz was questioning whether Trey Smith was hurt last night.
I don't know, yeah.
Like he was saying, is he hurt? I've never seen him get beat in ways like this. Some guys barely even rushing him and he's losing. That's uncommon. So, like, he was even, like, Trey played weird enough last night that even Mitchell Schwartz was like, is he healthy? Is that a part of the equation?
I hope that's not what it is.
I'm just pointing it out as a part of it. You cannot. Like, it's malpractice, but you can't start Jawan Taylor this week. It's time for Jalen Moore. I'm sorry. He's had every opportunity to fix the mistakes he's making. Lining up is a personal choice. You can look to your left and see where you're lined up. This is a personal choice. You are making a decision and hoping they don't call you for it. He was more offsides on the play after, a pivotal play after, than the one he had just gotten called for. So he didn't even adjust play to play, Gold. He was more offsides the second time.
It should have been called earlier in the game. I was stunned it took a couple drives into the game or whatever it was for that penalty to occur, and of course it occurred on a big 3rd down. That's when they always get called for them.
It's always the run and the scramble.
It's always something like that. We could talk about will there be a switch throughout later on in the week and everything. I'm not confident that they're going to make that switch, but if Matt Nagy's out here making those comments, then what's the point of even saying if you're not willing to make the switch?
I agree.
They may view it. I think when we talked about this after week 1, I said I think they're going to give him a month. That would be one more game. I understand the fan base would say, why wait for it to happen again? You know it's going to happen on Sunday against Baltimore. What are you doing? So I totally get that argument. I tend to think they're going to give him another week, although I don't know what the point is. I mean, this is clearly not something he's ever going to fix.
No.
This is who he is.
He's made his decisions.
This is who he is as a football player. All right. Up next, let's talk about the AFC West. The Chargers, unfortunately, all alone atop the AFC West. And then we'll talk about the much-discussed Andy Reid, Travis Kelce sideline incident.
What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? It's Trent McDuffie. You're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays 10 to 2 on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Ready, Set, Ford. That's what Shawnee Mission Ford is all about, bringing meaning to Ready, Set, Ford by offering their customers the largest discounts on every new vehicle, along with aggressive rebates and top trade-in value. You guys know I've been driving a Ford F-150 from Shawnee Mission Ford for, I guess, over a month at this point in time. I took some family members out to Lawrence on Saturday for the KU football game. It was nice as we were driving on K10 on the way there, just set on Blue Cruise, hands-free driving. They were amazed how much room everybody had in the back seat of the pickup. It was one of the best comfortable drives that everybody had on the entire trip out to Lawrence. And one of the things about Shawnee Mission Ford is if you're also just looking for a pre-owned vehicle, you're in luck with over 100 pre-owned vehicles to choose from at prices and terms well within any budget. And after the sale, they're going to be there with their mobile service. They came out to our station a couple weeks ago. I think Cody actually had his oil change as well. They'll come out to your business. They'll come out to your office, wherever your job site is. They'll come to your home. They will make it easy on you. Shawnee Mission Ford is on a mission to do more.
This is Creed Humphrey. Kansas City has the best fans in the world and the best bull riding team in the PBR. The Outlaws are looking to win it all this year, but they can't do it without you. I'm the chief of Outlaw Attitude, and I need you to pack the house. So buckle up and make some noise. The Outlaws are coming, and we know KC will be there with us. Come see Kansas City's next dynasty and join me at PBR Team Outlaw Days, October 3rd through 5th.
Hello all, Steve here with Connolly Plumbing Solutions, your neighborhood plumber. This is when we start working in our yards. Be careful that your outside faucet didn't burst over the winter. Maybe you've discovered that it doesn't work very well. This month we are offering an outside faucet replacement special with access for only $3.99. So call Connolly Plumbing Solutions, your neighborhood plumber, at 913-768-7676 or visit ConnollyPlumbingSolutions.com to schedule.
People who suffer from long-term chronic joint pain spend so much of their time acting, putting up a carefree front. It's exhausting.
I was really tired of trying to act like I wasn't in pain because I was in pain all the time.
Rick Rawlings didn't want everyone else to know that he was coping with agonizing shoulder pain 24/7.
Yes, I had to put on a face to cover up my pain.
But then Rick found QC Kinetics, offering new lasting treatments for joint pain using natural biologics. Treatments designed to restore and repair joint tissue with no drugs, no surgery, no downtime. The results were amazing.
I am very glad. It changed my life doing the QC Kinetics. Today, my shoulders feel wonderful. The cranky Rick is gone. He's not grouchy anymore.
No more acting. Feel like yourself again with a call to QC Kinetics.
Call QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299.
This sandwich, it's a complete game changer. Hello, this is Mike, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Pretzel Cheddar Club is that juicy chicken with that toasty pretzel bun. That bun, it's crispy, cozy, just amazing. With the pretzel bun, the Dijon mustard, and the chicken, it makes that sweet, savory kind of combination. It's everything that you love about food rolled into one. It looks phenomenal. It tastes great. It's delicious.
Order the Pretzel Cheddar Club with Cherry Berry and Sprite for a limited time on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests paid for their testimonial.
If you could hear Old Spice Fiji Antiperspirant, what would it sound like? First, you'd start with Fiji Antiperspirant's amazing scent of palm trees. Add pure notes of fresh coconut and layer on 24/7 odor and sweat protection. You won't hear any dyes or parabens because with Fiji, you won't have any. So while your regular antiperspirant sounds like this, Old Spice Fiji sounds like this. Sounds like it smells amazing.
Hey, almost Andy Reid here. It's been an honor to give back to the community that's embraced me being almost your head coach. Thanks for letting me be part of your team. Renner Garage Door is a teammate of mine that also values the community that they served for decades, always giving back and delivering wins with top brands like Geldon, Amar, and LiftMaster. Need a repair or replacement? Get a free estimate today. Forward and back.
R-E-N-N-E-R, R-E-N-N-E-R.
Tulsa is my home now.
Academy Award nominee Sylvester Stallone stars in the Paramount Plus original series, Tulsa King.
This distillery is a very interesting business, and we gotta know the enemy.
From Taylor Sheridan, co-creator of Landman.
What are you saying? I'm a rat! If you think you're gonna take me out, it's gonna be really difficult.
Tulsa King. New season now streaming exclusively on Paramount Plus.
Your cold is coming. Your cold is coming. When you feel a cold coming, shorten it with Zicam, the #1 cold shortening brand.
Oh no, not before my big trip.
The big trip you've been planning is coming up, and so is your cold. But Zicam can shorten your cold and get you back to planning sooner.
Thanks, Revere.
We really should keep Zicam in the house.
Shorten your cold with Zicam.
Take it from America's most revered messenger. Shorten your cold at the first sign with cold shortening products from Zicam, the #1 cold shortening brand. Available in stores or see where to buy at Zicam.com.
Do Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keep coming back? Tremfya, guselkumab, may help, with rapid remission achieved at 12 weeks and lasting clinical remission at 1 year. Some even saw visible improvement of their intestinal lining at 12 weeks and 1 year. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Healing is possible with Tremfya. Approximately 3 out of 10 patients were in endoscopic remission at 1 year, based on areas visualized on colonoscopy, which may not represent the deeper bowel layer or entire GI tract. Individual results may vary. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
Hey, September is Prostate Cancer Awareness Month, which is the second common form of cancer among men. There are many risk factors, like age, race, and family history, but there are lifestyle and prevention tips to help minimize your risk of prostate cancer. Eat a balanced diet, rich in fruits, vegetables, and lean proteins. Stay active with regular exercise. Maintain a healthy weight. Limit high-fat and processed foods. Don't smoke. Guys, encourage men in your life to talk to their doctor about prostate health. Zero's Run Walk is coming to Kansas City. Help raise funds and awareness for prostate cancer. Early detection saves lives. Don't wait. Visit kcuc.com today. At KCUC, you see the best in KC.
Listen to the Royals and A's this Sunday on the Fan AM 610 with Vern's on Deck show starting at 1. This is your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, and Odyssey Sports Station.
$11 hour here on Cody and Gold. Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. Coming up in about 15 minutes or so, we will get to the trash of the day. Also, about an hour from now, you'll hear from Chiefs head coach Andy Reid. He'll be speaking exclusively here on 96.5 The Fan, as he does each and every Monday on your home for the Chiefs. Thinking of Andy Reid, I want to play a few things he had to say about what became, I think, a story that was less meaningful once the second half got going and the team started playing better. Like always, things are magnified when performances are bad, when your team loses. And I'm, of course, referencing another sideline blow up from Travis Kelce. Now, I understand this one, at least from what we saw in video, Andy Reid was barking back, if not instigating it. I have no idea, right? We were not on the sideline, so I don't know if it was Travis Kelce saying something first. Andy then this time did not let him keep talking, and he chirped back. I don't know the order of events. We only saw the same clip that you guys saw as well. All I know is
they're never gonna tell
on
us.
a weekly basis now, seemingly, Travis Kelce's yelling about something. And I think there's a fine line between the, hey, emotion, and he should be emotional, and he's always been an emotional player, and all that is true, and the, hey, like every week, are we going to do this? Is this what we expect? Is it a problem? We can get into all that if you guys want on the text line, 913-586-7965. This is what Andy Reid said twice. He was asked at halftime, and then there's the post-game audio. We'll play each one for you.
And we've seen a lot of frustration and emotion from your key players, star players on the sideline. What's your message to the team?
That's okay. We need some juice, so that's good.
Awesome. Thanks, Andy.
That was the halftime interview, of course, on NBC. This was when Andy was asked about the little bump into Kelce and the arguing on the sideline.
He's a passionate guy, and I love that part. So I've been through a lot of things with him, so that's all part of it. I love that he loves to play the game. That's what I love, and it's an emotional game. So I'll take it.
I love seeing Andy bark back and Andy get fired up. I actually love seeing that. I think at some point when I see, if you're him, every week one of my leaders consistently yelling about something, because it's happened each week so far this season, I want the coach to bark back. I'm fine with the emotion thing. I don't think it needs to happen every single week, though, if I'm Travis Kelce.
That's where the issue lies. It's not that he's had one sideline incident. We've talked about this before. Travis Kelce's played football this way his entire life. I can show you hundreds of incidents of where Travis Kelce yelled at a ref, made gestures at a ref, yelled at a coach, there was the one where Travis bumped into Andy pretty hard from just a couple of years ago.
It was in the Super Bowl.
In the Super Bowl. So, it's not that we've never seen this from Travis Kelce. We've seen this multiple times. This is not a great time for everyone to look like they're losing their composure at each other because the team is not playing well enough for this to fly. You can't be, because this is true of any situation. If you have a boss who acts this way, a coach who acts this way, or a player who acts this way, if you lose your mind every second of every day, it is significantly less impactful to everyone around you. So the third time around, you're not getting through to anybody on that one, right, Travis. The first two, maybe. The first one, maybe. Maybe you're making a point. Maybe you're making a point that we're holding each other accountable, whatever. But by the time you do it every week, it's boy who cried wolf. You're just complaining. And I think at some point, it's just like, well, then do something about it, right? Travis has been okay in the first 3 weeks, but he's also made mistakes in those first two games as well. So, it's not just on us. I think some of this is just weird. That pass that Patrick Mahomes missed him, really badly on. A play where Travis Kelce was open the entire time. And I still think some of this gold goes back to what you said last week, which is maybe he's being taken off the field at moments he doesn't love, and he feels like he can still contribute and help his team win.
I think that's what has caused some
in
of
that
this,
spot.
yes.
But, you got to keep a cooler head for a little while. I'm not saying you can't ever show a little piss and vinegar on the sideline, but it can't be every week. It can't be every week.
That's the issue. The effectiveness of being fired up and emotional and getting your guys fired up, if you are doing it every single time, is not going to have the same effect. And I did like Andy Reid barking back. I think this whole thing last night would have been a much bigger deal if they would have lost the football game because they won. It's the same with the Super Bowl incident, Cody. If they would have lost that Super Bowl,
that would have been a huge.
It would have been that thing went away quick because they won. So everybody kumbaya. It's all good. When you win, things are great. And so I understand there are emotions that are going to happen, and it's not like we, as you said, we have never seen it over the years. It's not like there wasn't some other sideline in the NFL yesterday that had a player barking at another player or a coach. In fact, it was just a week or so ago, Malik Neighbors was getting into it with Brian Dable. So it happens, but it has been a weekly occurrence. It would be nice if we don't see it every single week. And some of that requires the team playing better offensively.
Yes. Because then there's less to complain about because you're happy and everything's in a good mood. Look, and I see it over on YouTube and Twitch. I see it on the text line.
Yeah.
And, I know that this is going to be well, Andy Reid says it's fine, so it's probably fine.
Well, he's not going to call out his future Hall of Fame tight end on national television.
That's it. Also, I've said that it is a factor of the job. I don't mean this as in, I'm questioning the character of it. Last week alone, Andy Reid lied at least 5 times to the media. So I just lied. Just said things that were either factually incorrect, misleading. He's not trying to get, and this is part of his job. When he says, I'm always this aggressive on fourth down. We've always been one of the most aggressive teams in the NFL. Factually inaccurate. Andy Reid knows that that's factually inaccurate. He's saying that as a moment to try to make sure people aren't onto them. He says things because he's not going to ever, and he's never drawn at a player. He said that he loves a player before benching him. He said he's loved players that he didn't. Like, these things will happen. I think that's Andy just covering for Travis. I don't think Andy loves that Travis is losing it every week either, because it is too often. It is not about never doing it. It is about the frequency in which it's occurring for Travis that's the issue. And he's not. If he was also getting 8 catches for 100 and a touchdown all 3 weeks, but pissed at everyone else, okay, fine.
Yeah, he
You're
hasn't
gonna hold
had
people accountable. He hasn't been playing like that either. So
he hasn't had the best starts of the season individually. We all know what happened last week with the drop and all that. So, if you can get next week or this coming week now against the Ravens, if the offense is looking better and things are going well, my guess is we will not see it happen on the sideline. If there's more frustration on the sideline, it probably means the offense is struggling again. I mean, I think that's very evident at this point in time. And it doesn't help that, look, it happened in a primetime game. So that
everybody sees
the
it.
Cameras, I mean, I'm not saying CBS wouldn't have caught it on the 325 game as well, because we did see it.
But it got played a few more times.
Because it's on primetime, and they asked about it. I'm actually glad we had the halftime interview, although, you're not going to get much, out of that. And Andy Reid, master deflector when it came to that. He was always going to downplay it. I mean, that's just the way it was, and that's most coaches would.
Yeah, and I know, like, there's people like Dom over on Twitch says, not an issue, they're adults, they'll be okay with it. I'm not saying they don't have the kind of relationship that's buried today. It's probably buried today.
Right.
I don't imagine that Andy's coming to the facility like, hey, Travis, we got to talk about the stuff, Mm-hmm. But there is, like, I don't know. It goes back to maybe what they've said for 2 seasons in a row too, which is we want the offense to be fun again. We want football to feel fun. It genuinely doesn't look like football has felt fun for Travis Kelce in years. Like, he's doing it because he's competitive and he wants to win, and winning championships means something to him. But there is I don't know if you've watched Ted Lasso or Little Big League or whatever sports cliche movie you want to put it into. Like, when in Ted Lasso, when he takes the older player and he's like, I brought you here because football is supposed to be fun. I'm trying to remind you that football is fun. Or like, he's talking about soccer in this case. He says football. But I think Travis Kelce needs to remember football is fun. And that's kind of the point. I think he's lost that a little. Yeah. I think he's lost that, like, this is a fun game and we should be enjoying it.
I do have to bring up a tweet of yours last night. I was texted by multiple people that wanted to make sure I addressed this with you. You responded to the video of the whole sideline incident, and you tweeted, Andy was all caps, big mad.
He was big mad.
And our old producer immediately commented as well and said, you're saying big mad now? I was texted by others, and others want me to make sure I brought this up to you.
I didn't realize
that this is what you're going to say now.
I can say lots of things.
I think people said they were surprised. The Professor Tapp, the 40-year-old father of 2, was
I'm surrounded by it.
Big mad. Mad.
You got to remember that based on my kids' ages, I'm surrounded by it. My daughter yesterday, Ruby, both said that she was hangry, and said that if something didn't happen that she wanted, that she was going to crash out. I'm just surrounded by this.
But big mad, you're out there tweeting big mad.
I could text big mad. I thought you were going to say when I said that the Xavier Worthy catch was sexy. I'm surprised.
We've gone through.
Can we also?
No, that is nothing compared to a year or so ago where you sent out some tweet about in a sexual context, and that was very different.
That was Bobby Witt, wasn't it? Or it was one of the home runs.
Basically,
and
Cody
I had said if an erection lasts longer than 4 hours, please consult your doctor. That one?
That's a different level. I would have thought the big mad. I would have thought the big mad tweet was something Drew would have tweeted out or something. But you're right.
Pretty low.
You are right about, like, being around, like, your kids or whatever. My nephews now, they are just, they're obviously they're all boys, so they're brothers. But still, now the big thing that they like, hey bro. Well, yeah, bro. And bro. Oh, yeah. Hey, bro. So now the funny thing, when we go, like, we were at his one of my nephew's basketball games yesterday. So now my mom, his grandma, obviously, will now, just because it throws him off, will now call him bro just occasionally. Like, hey, bro.
There you go.
And now it's just they don't like it because it's messed up the whole thing now. Because they say it all the time. They say it all the time.
I think it's just it's a filler word for my kids at this point.
Sure.
My stance is just you're not calling me bruh. Like, okay, you want to say it in your normals? Fine.
Yeah.
But if you're like, hey, can I get a snack, bruh? I'm not bruh. That one, me, your friends, whoever, fine. I'm not that. Like,
can we so you mentioned the whole, like, going back to the Xavier Worthy catch. Can we also, the amount of times yesterday, I got sick and tired of Chris Collinsworth saying "sexy Dexy." I was done. Who is calling him that? His wife? Who's
That's
calling him
been his nickname around the league
because
for a long time.
I got tired of hearing Chris Collinsworth say "sexy Dex." We're done.
My stance
he said it
on-
about 5 times.
You call your quarterback Joe Shiesty and
That's
stuff.
way
You can't.
better.
I mean,
No,
it's-
that is
I don't like that
miles
nickname.
better.
I just like
miles better than "sexy Dexy."
I just like both of those nicknames. For what
That's
it's
something
worth.
his wife calls him like in the bedroom. That's exactly what that is.
What
We're done.
nickname does your wife call you, Drew?
I don't think we want that answer. I
was holding
Is
back.
there a nickname?
I was holding back.
My stance is that Chris Collinsworth should be forced to say moonball, whether it's a bad pass. He threw several moonballs in that game.
He did.
Didn't say it when they were
I was very
interceptions.
surprised.
That went
Kept
under.
his mouth shut when
That's
they
because they weren't caught. That was why.
They got caught by the defense. They got caught by the Chiefs defenders. Hey man, it's still a moonball. He's still throwing it up in the middle of the air. Still looks the same. Just got caught by the opposing team. I think if you're gonna force me to listen to it, it should be when they catch it.
Yeah, I mean, well, he said moonball in the opening segment of the broadcast in their intro, and so I thought we were about to go way over 4.5 for 5. But no, the sexy Dexy thing has been Dexter Lawrence's thing since college.
Yeah, but we need let Dexter Lawrence say it. We don't need Chris Collinsworth saying that, calling that throughout the broadcast.
That one got you, huh?
It was just it wasn't even like I was mad about it. I was just like, why is he saying it so much? He's Dexter Lawrence, Chris. Like, can you back down and relax a little bit?
All right, let's talk about what else happened on Sunday. It was the late afternoon slate. The Chargers and Broncos ended up being a very good football game, as you probably expect between two division rivals. The Chargers did get the win. They're now 3-0 with 3 divisional wins. That's what's crazy. The way the schedule worked out, 3 divisional wins, firmly in the driver's seat. Honestly, the Broncos in 2 weeks in a row, they probably feel like they should have won the football game. Should have beat the Colts the week before. Should have beat the Chargers there. Bo Nix, in the first half of both games was pretty good. Made some other mistakes in that contest and just a lot of mental errors from the Broncos as a unit. You were looking at, I can't remember who tweeted out the list, but I know you ended up retweeting it yesterday. But Bo Nix,
Tom.
Yeah, Bo Nix, last year we all acknowledged, very surprised with how well he played. But the one thing with him has always been, what's his ceiling? I think it's pretty low. I think his floor is very high. Can he improve on last year? I felt like last year might be kind of the type of season you're going to see throughout much of his career. And now you take a look, Bo Nix, here are the quarterbacks he has beaten in his career. Baker Mayfield, who is a top 10 quarterback, Mayfield, but the Bucs only scored 7 in that game. So that was a defensive performance.
Yep.
Aaron Rodgers, when he was on the Jets.
An awful version.
Gardner
of Aaron Rodgers.
Minshew twice, Spencer Rattler, Bryce Young, Kirk Cousins, Jameis Winston, Anthony Richardson, and Carson Wentz. Those are the quarterbacks that he has beaten.
Also bad Kirk Cousins. That was the year in which he eventually got benched by Atlanta. So I gotta, part of this is the Chargers are 3-0, and they deserve their props in the sense that they are way, way, way in the driver's seat in this division. Now, I understand a simple math here is Chiefs beat the Chargers in the second game. They're only 1 game back. They don't have to make up as much as it seems because the way NFL divisions work. They're not going to beat the Chargers in the division by also losing to them in the follow-up to this game anyway. So, let's just say they're 1 game behind in effort of the division. Fine. You can make that up. Now, I'd say Herbert looks really good. The defense looks sharp. They have weapons. All of a sudden, Quentin Johnson's made a nice leap. Keenan Allen and Quentin Johnson have actually been better than their best wide receiver last year, Ladd McConkey, which means they've got 3 guys who can get open for him. Denver should be seriously taking a look in the mirror. Bo Nix can't beat anybody. He's awful.
I don't think he's awful.
Well,
I don't think he's awful. Come on now.
But he can't awful in big games.
Okay.
I'm sorry. He's mediocre to below average depending on the game. He has beaten no one of substance. No one. And that should be pretty glaring if I were the Broncos head coach and their system. Because you and I had said the same thing. They might not be a playoff team if this is the only quarterbacks he's going to beat. They have a much more difficult schedule than they've had before.
There's the way that they built around him, though. I think that the way that Sean Payton has built the team, it fits. If they had a quarterback, you could say they'd be a Super Bowl contender and all these other things, which I think is where he's built the team around him to have success amidst Bo Nix being the type of quarterback that he is. And to your point, Cody, I think there is validation in the fact that if it's a playoff game, can Bo Nix go and win you the game? I don't know if any of us are saying we're confident in Bo Nix having to go on a drive and win you the game.
Nope.
Just based on what we've
ceiling
seen.
is low.
And maybe that's the difference in how we look at the Broncos this year is just Justin Herbert looks like the guy that actually will go And, he obviously has put up great numbers, but there was moments where it's like, he doesn't win you the game, though. Like, it feels like there's moments where he just kind of disappears. He hasn't had that this year. He looks like an MVP candidate.
Yeah, he's playing great. Quentin Johnston continues to me be
he's been
the biggest
spectacular.
change for that offense. They actually have someone to complement Ladd McConkey. That's a game changer for them. I think it's fair to still say with Herbert, later on in the year, when there's a game that they have to win or can win to just wrap up the division, to put the Chiefs away, let's say.
Can they do it?
Can he win that one? I don't remember what week the Chiefs play the Chargers again. Someone
Pretty
can tell
late,
me.
it's December.
But let's say the Chiefs are still in the divisional race. Hopefully they are at that point in time. And let's say that's the game to lock it up for the Chargers. Can Herbert win that game? That'll be when I'll buy into that. He's different and he's overcome and he's gotten over that hump, if you will. So I think the Chargers have been very impressive. How can you not? They're 3-0. They look great.
Are they the best team in football right now?
No.
But they're one of the 5 best teams in football right now.
Yeah, they are definitely a top 5 team.
Yeah. So, as of right now, they're a better team than the Chiefs. And as of right now, they are one of the 5 best teams in football. The Eagles get the crown of best team in football, in my opinion. They're 3-0, and they've won 20 of their last 21 football games.
The comeback was impressive. Very impressive from the Eagles. It looked like, this offense cannot, their offense was atrocious.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts didn't have a passing touchdown for the first 2 games.
But that comeback was very, very impressive
How about
against
Jordan
a
Davis
really good
hitting
Rams.
18 miles an hour on that run back.
That block kick was, I can't believe that happened. I mean, that final 25, 30 minutes, if you're watching NFL Red Zone of the noon slate, was awesome. Just chaos. We'll talk more about that a little bit later on, but let's get to it, Drew.
Trash of the day.
All right, not sports-oriented today, although there were some things that happened in the sports world that certainly could have clarified or classified as trash of the day. The United States is number 1 in another category.
Wow, what is it?
Mm-hmm. This is according to a new survey. Cheating.
Number 1, baby.
Cheating.
Oh, not great.
Yeah. Americans, big cheaters. United States, tops in the world.
In the world?
There's
not a country that cheats more in the world?
I said we're number 1 in the world when it comes to cheating. Yeah. In a table showing the country with the most infidelity, 71% of Americans admitted, 71% of Americans admitted to stepping out, with Germany and the UK close behind at 68 and 66%. If you're wondering which states were the top cheaters in the United States of America, that would be Texas, Alabama, and this one was surprising to me, Nebraska. The biggest double dippers, if you will. The top reasons. Do you have any guesses? I mean, I'm
guessing bad sex life at home.
Right. So that's some of it. 30% said lonely or bored in their marriage. 15% said lost their sex drive or suffered chronic illness. That's a weird one.
So you suffered a chronic illness, or they did, and then you just started cheating?
I guess.
That's pretty messed up.
14.7% said they wanted some adventurous sex, more satisfying. 8% said their spouse cheated first, so they were getting back at him or her. 7.4%, they just wanted to have sex more often. 6.9% said they can't communicate with their spouse.
Oh, that'll solve it.
That's really tough, man.
That'll solve it.
6.7% said they're making up for missed sexual experiences. They wanted to try something. 6% allows them to be someone else.
Can I ask the text?
4.2% said it's dangerous and fun.
Oh, they like to live on the edge, huh? 913-586-7965. Are 70% of you cheating on the people you're with?
That's high, right?
Look, I assume people cheat. I didn't think it was 70%. 0% of you are cheating on your significant other?
I was stunned to see the percent. By the way, other fun facts in this survey. 40% of Tinder users are said to be married or in committed relationships, and around 30% of affairs start with a coworker.
Well, that feels like the more traditional route. 40% of people. Don't you Google someone when you're on Tinder, Gold?
What do you mean?
I imagine you match
Google
on Tinder.
Someone. Well, there's no last name, so sometimes you can find them quick, sometimes not. There's no last name, so usually you can find if you do a little snooping, but yeah, it doesn't show your last name, so technically no, you can't just flat out Google.
What's your stance on? You say you start dating someone, they want a little phone access. What's your stance on phone access first?
Phone access.
They want, how long until you think, or are you okay with someone having access to your phone?
Way down the road.
70% of people are cheating.
Yeah, way down the road. I think you have to. If you're that concerned, it means you already don't trust them, and you think, so I think no. I think if you're married or whatever, sure. But like if you're 3 months in a relationship, I don't need you snooping on my phone, and I don't want to snoop on your phone.
Should they trust anyone?
I don't know. I'm surprised.
70%.
I was trying to figure out where Kansas and Missouri ranked on this. As I said, Nebraska was I don't know if it says in this long. Oh, wait, here we go. Kansas and Missouri did not make the top 10. Makes you feel better. Texas, Bama, Nebraska, California, Iowa, Massachusetts, New York, Oklahoma, Michigan, Washington. The most cheating cities.
Okay.
Number 1, Columbus, Ohio.
Damn, Columbus.
This data comes from Ashley Madison. We all remember that whole story. Miami, Florida, Orlando, Vegas, Atlanta, Richmond, Virginia, Cincinnati, Ohio, Minneapolis, Tampa,
2 Ohio
and
cities
then
in
Buffalo.
the top 10?
The hell's going on in Ohio?
Jeez.
Yeah.
People like celebrating Ohio State wins without their significant other.
And lastly, real quick, the profession, care to guess, that cheats the most among men and the profession that cheats the most among women. Different answer for each. You have a quick guess?
Construction workers. I don't know.
Most likely profession for cheating men, trades. Number 2 is IT. For women, number 1, medical industry. That is the trash of the day. Up next, we get right back into some Chiefs football in the red half hour, including someone that got their first start as a member of the NFL.
What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? It's Josh Simmons. You're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays 10 to 2 on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Football is back tonight. Obviously, it was here all weekend as we are in week 3, and you could be making selections over at Underdog. And you can play right now in the state of Missouri, as in you can go sit on your couch, watch football tonight, and make those selections on Underdog. It's easy. You just choose which players will go higher or lower than their stats, like touchdowns, receiving yards, and more. And you can play with as little as $1, and you can win up to 5,000 times your cash with those selections. You'll be looking at some of the slate tonight. I like Gibbs to go higher than 55.5 rush yards tonight for them, as Baltimore has been a little back and forth on that as well. So you can make those selections, plus choose the way you want to play. You can play streaks. Each streak starts by making 2 picks. If the picks are correct, the next pick for the streak becomes available. Get 11 correct, and the prize is yours. So join me over on Underdog by downloading the promo code TAPP, T-A-P-P, to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code TAPP, T-A-P-P. Must be 18 plus and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/playinggetterms_DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit www.ncbgambling.org.
Fall's the best time of year to clean up the outside of your home or business, and the best way to do that is with a fresh coat of paint from my friends at CertaPro Painters. You want your home or business to make a great impression, and that starts with the exterior. And when you choose CertaPro Painters, you're choosing the best in the business for your job. CertaPro Painters go the extra mile. If there's a way to save you money, they'll let you know, and they take care of every detail from start to cleanup. So do what we did and schedule your free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated.
Looking to drive your finances downfield? Main Street Credit Union is the hometown team you can trust. We help you build credit, lower monthly expenses, and finance with confidence. Or if you need a loan to grow your small business, we've got flexible options and no hidden fees. At Main Street, it's not just about the win, it's about keeping Kansas City moving forward. One goal, 1 yard, 1 member at a time. Get in the game at MainStreetCU.org.
Race weekend returns to Hollywood Casino at Kansas Speedway with over $60,000 in prize giveaways. Friday night, stay cool with the Pin Play app and pick up a 12-pack of Coca-Cola while supplies last. Saturday is a day of winners with a winner every 15 minutes. And on Sunday, win up to $2,500 in Penn bonus play with the Hollywood Casino 400 even or odd drawing. Find your fun at Hollywood Casino. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Gear? Check. Snacks? Check. Tires? Not so much. I didn't have time to deal with this, so I asked my friend. Her answer was simple. Take it to Telly, she said, and I'm so glad I did. They didn't just take care of my tires, they took care of me. We got you, they said, and they did. Fast, friendly, and stress-free. Now I know when life throws you a red card, take it to Telly. Stay in the game. Take it to Telly.
The FanDuel Sportsbook app is your home for all your favorite NFL bets, from yards to touchdowns to who will win. With FanDuel, any play can be the play of the game. FanDuel is giving all customers a 50% profit boost token tonight. And here's a parlay that you could put together. How about in this Lions and Ravens game? A Derrick Henry anytime touchdown. Sam Laporta to go over his receiving along with Amon-Ra St. Brown. So make FanDuel your go-to app for any snap. Just visit FanDuel.com/Alex. Play your game with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NFL and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right? It doesn't clean as well.
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure, concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Oh, let me make an announcement.
Attention shoppers, if you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Stop paying for watered-down detergents. Pay for clean. If it's gotta be clean, it's gotta be Tide Pods. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
Morning, Zoe. Got donuts.
Jeff Bridges, why are you still living above our garage?
Well, I dig the mattress, and I want to be in a T-Mobile commercial like you. Teach me, Saldana.
Oh, no, I'm not really prepared. I couldn't possibly. At T-Mobile, get the new iPhone 17 Pro on them. It's designed to be the most powerful iPhone yet and has the ultimate pro camera system.
Wow, impressive. Let me try. T-Mobile is the best place to get iPhone 17 Pro because they've got the best network.
Nice, Jeffrey.
You heard them. T-Mobile is the best place to get the new iPhone 17 Pro on us with eligible trade-in in any condition.
So, what are we having for lunch?
Dude, my work here is done.
The 24 monthly bill credits on experience beyond for well-qualified customers plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Credits ended, balance due if you pay off earlier. Cancel. Finance agreement iPhone 17 Pro, 256 gigs, $1,099.99 and new line minimum $100 plus a month plan with autopay plus taxes and fees required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data 1H2025. Visit T-Mobile.com.
Keeping your engines healthy means protecting them in season and out. Experts trust Stable to do that. And third-party testing confirms it. Stable is the industry leader in preventing fuel-related issues, no matter if you use it in your car, boat, or outdoor power equipment. In season or out, at every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable.
Lowe's knows how to help make your home holiday ready for less. Get Select Style Selections vinyl flooring for just $1.99 per square foot and have it installed before the festivities begin. Our team can help you every step of the way. See a Lowe's Red Vest associate or visit Lowe's.com/holiday install to get started. Lowe's, we help, you save. Basic install only. Date restrictions apply. Subject to availability. Installed by independent contractors. See associate for details. Contiguous U.S. only.
Chiefs coverage brought to you by Metal by the Foot, your metal project superstore.
At Metal by the Foot, we pride ourselves on delivering the highest quality metal to meet your exact needs. Located in Casey and Topeka. Online at metalbythefoot.com. When you need a piece of metal, remember, metal doesn't have to cost an arm or a leg, just the foot.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. Welcome in to the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Every day at 11:30 with Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Chiefs Red Half Hour brought to you by All Weather Decks, Kansas City's most respected deck builder. Check them out at allweatherdecks.net.
Coming up in about 25 minutes, you're going to hear from Andy Reid right here on 96.5 The Fan. Remember, on a Monday, the only place you can hear from Andy Reid is your home for the Chiefs, right here during Cody and Gold on 96.5 The Fan. On Friday's show, we were discussing players that we would like to maybe see get a little more playing time. So what personnel changes could the Chiefs make going in? It's one thing to think game plan-wise or scheme or whatever, but like, is there a player that you guys wanted to play more. And we had that discussion. We each gave a few players. You guys texted in as well. I said I would like Brashard Smith to play more. Drew, I think you said Ashton Gelati. Cody, I think you said Jaden Hicks. Well, we got our answer on a couple of those yesterday. The player that ended up playing more, or I should say at least started, versus not starting ever before, was Omar Norman Lott, one of the Chiefs' rookies. He started. Now, his snap percentage wasn't 55% or anything. It was below.
Right around where it was.
30s, high 30s, I think, 38 or something like that. But he started. That was a personnel shift. Brashard Smith played a few more snaps, including, to me, their best drive of the season to open up the second half. Guess who was part of that drive, even if it's a small part? Brashard Smith. I don't think that is a coincidence. So, as they move forward, I'll be curious to see what other shifts do they have. We were saying, Spags doesn't typically play rookies very often. Well, to his credit, they started a rookie, and the interior, he started at tackle. Norman Lott did.
Noah Gray also played more. He got up to 68%, which meant they went to a 2-snap or double tight end system because Kelce didn't play significantly less. They obviously just used more multi-tight end sets to go with it. Look, the Omar Norman Lott one stood out because through the first 3 games, I notice him. I'm not saying all the time. I'm not saying he's getting pressure every time. But I notice Omar Norman Lott. We see some plays he makes. The first time I felt like I'd seen a Minihu in the game is when he was hurt. Like, oh, no, a Minihu's hurt. Is he all right? Because I don't remember, calling your name at other points. Ashton Gelati, I don't feel like we call his name a lot. You mentioned Chris Jones. You mentioned Karlaftis. You see the plays they make. Omar Norman Lott right now on the list of players I see making plays more often, he's probably on there. They made some slight shifts, but nobody overtook somebody. No. Norman Lott played more. Noel Williams played more. Brashard Smith played more. But they still played significantly less than the people who were ahead of them in the depth chart. So if this is a trial run for maybe more play, maybe we're getting on to something here. But it would just depend on what the team saw in those snaps is the truth.
I think we're seeing gradually, though, a couple of those names shift towards, one already happened, a starting spot. That's Omar Norman Lott. And then Noel Williams is the nickel corner for this team. I think it's evident right now. He's the nickel corner. Jalen Watson is the number 2 corner. Obviously, Trey McDuffie is the number 1 corner for this team. And Christian Fulton's hurt. And who knows, right? That's a wild card. I don't know when we'll see him on a football field.
And if he comes back, if he'll be a starter.
Right.
Probably not.
Yeah, I don't know. Noel Williams is you would think, going to get better here each week with some more experience, especially with Dave Merritt, who's one of the better secondary coaches in the league, and then Spags, who's the best defensive coordinator in football. I think we've known that for a couple of years now. I wonder, on the offensive side, if the Brashard Smith thing, is it still a grasp of the playbook? Is it trust? They gave him 2 or 3 touches, I think, in the game. And you could see why, you could see why they drafted him in the 7th round. You're like, okay, I see that. When you're struggling, and even though we all acknowledge the second half was better, and Taekwon Thornton is a huge positive for this team, the running game, the same feeling we had a week ago about the running game, I have. I understand that, thank goodness, Mahomes was not the leading rusher again.
And they ran it better.
They ran it better against a very good front. Give them some credit on that. It was just a very difficult front to do anything against, and they had a very nice plan in the second half in particular. With that, Kareem Hunt had a nice yards per carry average.
Yeah, 4.5.
But yet again, the minute they make contact, there's no broken tackles, there's no burst. Not that I think Brashard Smith's breaking tackles, but you can clearly tell the speed, and frankly, he just looks like he's got fresh, legs. He's a younger player than Kareem Hunt and Isaiah Pacheco. I would like them to continue to work in Brashard Smith into the offense.
Not a lot of elusiveness in that group, to your point, and that continues to be kind of the issue for them on offense. And so, yeah, maybe there's some, but some of this, and this is the biggest problem. The unseen in the running back stuff is yesterday they were running those tight sets. They mentioned that early in the game, which meant tight ends chip, running backs chip. Can you trust Brashard Smith to do that? Mm-hmm. That's still a huge hiccup for them. And why he, of the people who got increased snaps, was still lower on the list. You know who saw the biggest increase percentage-wise? Jaden Hicks, who went from less than 50% of the snaps to 77% of the snaps.
And then Brian Cook got hurt. Now, Cook did come back in the game later, I think,
that was certainly part of it. Part of Hicks' increase was the fact that, what you just mentioned, that he was unavailable, because Shamari Connor still played 100%.
He was good at run.
Did not go down.
Connor's best asset last night was coming up and run, and then you mentioned Cam Scadaboo, how he was impressive, but early in the game when the Giants clearly their focus was to run, I thought Shamari Connor and then Nick Bolton on one particular instance had a very nice play.
Look, I think overall it's like the things that we said last week I want to see I want to see just now a little bit more. And look, that was a performance enough by Hunt and Pacheco. It's probably staving off a huge increase from Rashard Smith from a coaching staff perspective. Kareem Hunt averaged 4.2 yards a carry. Isaiah Pacheco averaged 4.5 yards a carry. They were both good in short yardage. They were both good on third down. So they did the job they're supposed to do. But I think we can both all watch it, and all three of us can watch it, and everybody else continues to watch and be like, it is a boring run game that offers no upside. That is about as good as it'll look. All right, we got 100 yards. We average 4.5 yards a carry. That's max. That's like as good as it'll be at any point.
I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, because
out of Pacheco and Hunt, I don't think that there's like a ceiling beyond that.
So I actually, if they are willing to do more of what they did on that first drive, which was not only a balanced attack, but you notice they went under center. Pacheco had one of his best runs of the season. I don't think that stuff is a coincidence. And so if you're saying like they're not going to, that's as good as it's going to get because they're not willing to commit to it, then maybe I agree. I think they can be more successful there if they're willing to kind of go with that style of play a little bit more. You know, I don't know exact difference in snaps under center versus the week before. I didn't keep track of that. Somebody out there did.
Somebody will.
And we'll see it. I appreciate whoever is keeping track of that. I'm not going to go and log every play. I'm not doing that. Neither are you. But I will say the fact that they went under center, I don't think it's a coincidence that they had one of their better run plays. I think that helps. That little misdirection that they had, like so that drive looks.
Running a shotgun's hard.
That drive looks so different than not just because they had success, Cody, but like how they went about it looked so different than what they had done the prior 3 weeks. It looked like a Chiefs offense that we saw from a year or two ago, where it was good. You know, they were willing to do and could do whatever they wanted to do. Balance of run and pass, and they even got a nice third down conversion from Kelce on the drive, and like it just looks so smooth and in control. I know you can. Every team would love to do that every single time. I'm not saying that that's what every drive is now going to be or needs to be, but whatever elements that they change, because there were some clear differences in how the formation as well. More of that. Lean into that more until you get some of your full personnel back. Can they actually stop trying to be something that they're not right now with the personnel and lean into something that they maybe can be, even if it's not what they want to be long term, to win football games? And now on that drive, they did that.
Are we having a hard time this morning? Because like I'll just ask people on the text line too. 913-586-7965 or the YouTube chat, Twitch chat. You can subscribe and be at the top over there. I'll try to interact with you there too. It's hard. Like, I wanted to come in today and be like, okay, the ship, we're back on track. That first half was so ugly. It's so hard to like come in here and be overly positive about the Chiefs still. I need to see it against a real opponent.
Sure.
Not the defensive effort. The defensive effort was great against a good opponent, or has been good, against the Eagles 2 weeks ago. So it's or a week ago. So it's not like not that part of it, but it's like that first half was so souring still to the game that second half drive that you're talking about, loved it. Best drive of the season, no doubt. Taekwon Thornton, great storyline. We'll talk more about him coming out of it. There were real positives in the game. The secondary play, real positives in the game. The way they played in the first half, and you said it on Twitter, and I think that's probably a good way to describe it. It might as well have been a team with a rookie head coach and a rookie quarterback. I likened it. It looked like I was watching a Jets-Titans game from last year. I'm like, what is this product, and how are the Chiefs a part of it? Like, how are the Kansas City Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes a part of this level of dysfunctional product? It was hideous to watch football. And so, like, I'm trying to have, like, a mixed bag of... No, I'm glad they got the win. But there were a lot of negatives.
Plenty of issues that are still there, and I don't know if they get resolved. There was certainly plenty, I think, in the second half where you can take away and say, all right, did they find something? And that's what I'm hoping that first drive was out of the second half. Did they find something there that now they can look back and say, all right, this is where we had our most success of the entire season. Why was that? Why was this successful? And I hope there's some elements of that they can carry over. And then there's the obvious, and we'll talk more about Taekwon Thornton next hour. There's the obvious that now for 3 straight weeks, they have been able to either scheme Taekwon Thornton wide open last week, or he just is going to beat his man, and Mahomes trusts him to go up and make a hell of a catch, which he did, of course, last night in the Meadowlands against the Giants. And so those are some of the positives. Every week, Taekwon Thornton, to me, is going to have at least 1 or 2 opportunities down the field. The question is, do they connect? Whether it's Mahomes getting enough air under the ball, whatever. Do they give him enough time, more importantly, to get it there? That was the thing, even on the Taekwon Thornton catch. Mahomes had to buy some more time. It wasn't just Mahomes just sat in the pocket and had 3 or 4 seconds.
Funny, on the throw
he rolled out.
That it was like that he almost caught it.
Yeah.
He had a little more time on that one.
On the big one, he rolled out to his right and then just launched the hell out of the ball. That was the type of play we saw 4 years ago, consistently.
I will, more than anything, at some point last year, I don't know if Mahomes got afraid, the offensive line didn't work. They stopped trying to go downfield. Genuinely, stopped trying. They gave up on it. They didn't make it a part of their offense. They straight up gave up on it. Mahomes didn't look like he wanted to throw downfield. They played scared, all that stuff. He's at least showing a lot of willingness to attempt. Whether it be that one before half to Hollywood Brown that he threw at 70 yards, whether it be the Taekwon Thornton attempts through the first 3 weeks, any of them. Little news out of the game last night, by the way. Giants running back Tyron Tracy, according to reports, has dislocated his shoulder.
Okay.
He is expected to miss some time, according to sources, so Scadaboo will likely step up in a bigger role for them over the next few weeks.
Jordan Renaud or whatever, ESPN NFL Nation reporter reporting that. So, yes, Cam Scadaboo time for sure with the Giants organization.
I was very on the fence. Had they ended up winning that game 9-6, which is what it felt like it was going to be for a huge chunk of time, or 15-9 or whatever the hell it was going to be. They showed enough in the second half that I've decided not to completely erase my initial season thought, which is I will judge this offense when Xavier Worthy and Rashee Rice come back. That first half almost had me convinced that even they couldn't save it. Like that was the problem I was having in that game, Gold, is that I was starting to talk myself out of the fact that Xavier Worthy and Rashee Rice were even capable of saving what the offense was. Because it is part, offensive line play hasn't lived up to it so far. Part, they don't have a consistent run game. And part, that they don't have any of their wide receiver weapons. I'm going to hope that the second half offense that you're talking about, like 10 to 14 from Mahomes, deep balls, that maybe there is still something there when Worthy and Rice come back, and they can get back to being I'll take top 10 offense at this point. At least I know the defense looks like it's top 10 again.
Yeah,
We're back
the
there.
defense is the most promising thing with this football team right now. There's no doubt. I do think the conclusion or the assessment of the offense, there's no way you can have a final assessment until you at minimum have, let alone multiple games, one game of Brown, Worthy, Rice, Thornton on the field. I have to see it once before I think anybody can say, nope, not happening this year. Like, I got to see it.
The first half of that game was like driving me towards it like an insane person.
Because they looked like a team that was not coached well, that had no veteran leadership, it was a complete disaster. That's
Mahomes looked like he was trying to do way, way too much in that game in the first half. And look, really to start the season, the biggest part of it, where you're like, I still feel like the team is more letting him down. He's not playing well enough, but the team is making it so that, like, I go back to that Isaiah Pacheco play. It's a backward pass. It's a dangerous pass for that reason. And Mahomes knows that. And he had to save his own ass by turning around and slapping that ball. It was an incredible effort play. Patrick Mahomes talked about it. It was an incredible effort play and very well might have saved the football game. Because if he scoops that up and he scores a touchdown, or they get it in and they score a touchdown, they probably, honestly, I just think they probably lose that football game.
Yeah, real chance.
Versus going into half 9-6. Isaiah Pacheco know which direction they're running?
He ran in the opposite direction. Like, it was
he turned around the other way.
He panicked. It looked like he panicked and just faced he like turned out into his route the wrong direction, backwards towards the opponent's end zone. And then there wasn't a whole lot of urgency to grab the football. Twice in the game, by the way, there was questionable whether it was a backward pass or an incomplete pass. Remember, they had the review. I don't know why the Giants challenged to pick up 8 yards. That was bizarre. And then I think the next play, the Chiefs got a huge chunk of yardage or a penalty on the Giants or something. Anyway, talking about the first backward pass / incomplete pass thing. That was weird. He was off last night in the passing game.
Listen,
I don't know what's going on with him, honestly.
Pacheco needs to learn the behind the line of scrimmage rule immediately. Somebody's got to sit him down in a coach's room and be like, hey, man, by the way, when he throws it and he's ahead of you, you have to get that football.
They just need to take him out when they're going to do those types of plays.
I don't know if they have
to just put Rashard Smith in. He shouldn't be the ones out there.
I don't know if they have to take him out. I think it's now clearly on the backward pass situation. It's if there's any pass to you from your quarterback remotely close to the line of scrimmage.
Hold on to that football.
Well, if it bounces on it, go pick it up just in case. Like, automatically go pick it up. Like, I don't think, that element is something they can coach up. The running backwards thing, that's not coaching. That's just Isaiah Pacheco. I just, like, for a split second, not knowing where the hell he is on a football field.
Yeah. The backwards one isn't. I mean, it was just one of the worst. Like, you ever seen someone like in a little little league essentially version of basketball scoring the wrong hoop? It was like, what was your plan if you caught that ball? Were you running to the other end zone? You turned around and faced the opposite direction. When has that ever worked?
Yeah. And then he just kind of stood around towards. Meanwhile, Mahomes is sprinting to try to get the ball, the defender who picked up the football. That was a bizarre sequence, man. That was a really bizarre sequence last night.
You know what? At least we said survive. They survived. They covered. They won by double digits.
That's what's hilarious.
We did a good job on our picks.
All these years
this week.
All these years now that we've been talking about this football team winning one-score games, not covering and all this, the night where they have a first half that is one of the worst first halves of football you'll see, of course, that's the one where they win by 13 points, because the NFL. It's bizarre. We're going to break a little early because Andy Reid is expected to speak to the media exclusively here on 96.5 The Fan. Next.
This is Cody and Gold on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan, brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Reliability. That's what you want when you're talking about working on your home. So trust a locally owned and operated company with more than 35 years of experience in the Kansas City area and the warranty that they will stand behind and be around to honor. Look, whether you got hail in the early spring and you wanted to get it looked at and you didn't get around to it, or you're worried about those branches come winter weather hitting your roof and you're like, how good a shape is my roof in? Find out over at Century Roofing. They need to be your first call for a reliable and trustworthy inspection that they'll do for free and give you an estimate on repairs or roof replacement. I had repairs done. I thought I might need a replacement. They said not yet. They gave me an honest assessment of my roof, told me the things I could fix. We worked on those things. Easy to work with, and the roof has been great ever since. I've extended the life of my roof by working with Century Roofing. And it's not just me. They've been voted Best of Johnson County 4 years in a row. They were voted Best Roofing Company in Kansas City, thanks to readers over at the Kansas City Star. They are, as I mentioned, locally owned and operated and like working with you to make sure you're comfortable with the repairs that are going to be done. And it doesn't matter whether it's composite asphalt, concrete tile, standing seam metal roofing, no matter your system, Century Roofing is ready to help you with those roofing needs. So schedule your estimate today from KC-based and female-owned Century Roofing. Trust the pillars of strength. Go to centuryroofingkc.com and tell them that Cody sent you.
Hi, we're your friends who get super excited about the holidays.
We sure are, or this isn't the ugliest holiday sweater ever.
People think we're happy because we love peppermint lattes.
Or catching snowflakes on our tongues.
But really, it's because it's Holiday Millionaire Raffle Season! It's your best odds to win $1 million.
That's dollars, not twinkling lights, but that would be great too.
Play the Kansas Lottery Holiday Millionaire Raffle. Get excited!
See kslottery.com for details.
Our Best Bank believes in the power of serving others. That's why we're committed to supporting those who serve our communities. We believe that all communities deserve a financial partner who cares. Our Best. We believe.
Hey, Chiefs fans, Crown Royal is the official whiskey of the Kansas City Chiefs. And this season, it's not game day without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. Whether you're at the tailgate, in the stands, or watching from home, Crown Royal is the reason and the reward for coming together. Grab a glass with the Crown Royal rig at a stadium near you, because we'll be sharing the generous spirit with fans across the country. Crown Royal, fueling game day with a generous spirit. Visit www.crownroyal.com/royal rig for more on the Crown Royal Rig Tour. Please drink responsibly.
You could be on the 50 at GEHA Field for the official coin toss at a Chiefs home game this season. Enter to win at Chiefs.com/GEHA. GEHA is the proud partner of the Kansas City Chiefs.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Need to sell your house in Kansas City but not sure what the best option is? Selling a home, especially when dealing with foreclosure, divorce, job relocation, or an inherited property, can feel overwhelming. That's why I don't just make offers. I help homeowners understand all their options so they can make the right choice with no pressure and no obligation. I'm Rex, a local homebuyer and resident right here in Kansas City. Whether you're looking for a fast cash sale or just want to explore your choices, I'll walk you through the pros and cons of selling to me or listing with an agent. If selling directly is your best move, I'll offer you a fair cash price and a closing timeline that fits your needs in as little as 7 days or on your schedule. No repairs, no commissions, no hidden fees. Just a transparent, hassle-free process so you know exactly what to expect. Let's talk. Call 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com for a free, no-pressure consultation. Rex Buys KC, helping homeowners make informed decisions with confidence.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, it's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Are you looking for a new job where you can have tons of fun and make great money? Twin Peaks is the team for you. We're looking for Twin Peaks girls, cooks, bussers, barbacks, and more. Text WORK, the number 4, TP to 85000 to apply today.
You like saving money, right? We all do. That's why Allstate just lowered the price of car insurance. Not, but wait, there's a catch. Lower. Actually lower. So if you're shopping around or just want to see how much you could save, check Allstate first for a new lower auto rate that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Another app for inventory, one for CRM. Oh, don't forget accounting. Wait, which login was that?
Or you could use Odoo, one fully integrated system that does it all without the hassle. Ditch the app overload. Get everything your business needs on one platform. Try Odoo free today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Keeping your engines healthy means protecting them in season and out. Experts trust Stable to do that, and third-party testing confirms it. Stable is the industry leader in preventing fuel-related issues, no matter if you use it in your car, boat, or outdoor power equipment. In season or out, at every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable.
Lowe's knows how to help make your home holiday ready for less. Get Select Style Selections vinyl flooring for just $1.99 per square foot and have it installed before the festivities begin. Our team can help you every step of the way. See a Lowe's Red Vest associate or visit Lowe's.com/holiday install to get started. Lowe's, we help, you save. Basic install only. Date restrictions apply. Subject to availability. Installed by independent contractors. See associate for details. Contiguous U.S. only.
Wildcat fans, this is Wyatt Thompson. Tune in all season long to the play-by-play of the 2025 football season, right here on your home for K-State Athletics, 96.5 The Fan.
KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station. What's trending?
Number one on What's Trending, we are expected to hear from Andy Reid in just a couple of minutes. The only place to hear from Andy Reid is 96.5 The Fan here each and every Monday. Of course, the Chiefs got their first win of the season, much needed to avoid the 0-3 start. They get it done with a 22-9 win in the game. Patrick Mahomes finished with 224 yards and a touchdown. The leading rusher for the first time this year was not Patrick Mahomes. It was Isaiah Pacheco, 10 carries for 45 yards. Leading receiver, of course, Taekwon Thornton. 5 catches, 71 yards, and a touchdown. We'll talk more about Taekwon individually as he has become such a crucial part now of this football team, and perhaps a season-saving catch even. I'll go as far as saying that, based off of how that offense was looking.
Very important. Couple big-time performances, obviously, at least on that end. Next up on What's Trending, multiple injuries. Tyrone Tracy has a separated shoulder. He's going to miss some time, according to reports out of New York. James Conner is done for the season, most likely. He'll get a follow-up, but people are saying that. Najee Harris, I think we could all see at this point. We've all watched enough sports. When an Achilles pops, unfortunately, he's done for the season as well. A lot of running backs getting hit hard in the NFL yesterday.
College football locally, we obviously know K-State was off, but Kansas in their Big 12 opener took care of West Virginia. It was a blowout. They dominated from start to finish to kick off the 2025 Big 12 slate there at the booth. Missouri with a big win against South Carolina there in Columbia. We're going to talk more about them tomorrow. As we mentioned late last week, it sets the stage now. Now, there's some big-time games coming up, but they are in position now to have a real conversation about their path towards a college football playoff berth.
No, it's very serious. We talked about this. We'll talk more Missouri again later in the week as well. KU throttled, as you mentioned, West Virginia.
Yeah, that was a sweat-free game. I was there checking out the new booth for the first time. Very, very impressed. I can't wait till it's completely done in 2027. But yeah, it was awesome to be back out there, and nice when you don't have to sweat it at all.
Yeah. Zero sweat. Next up on What's Trending, Royals get 2-3 against the Blue Jays over the weekend, who still hold a 2-game advantage in their division. Dropped the finale yesterday, 8-5. Carter Jensen had a really good weekend. Cags had a good weekend. Vinny and Bobby had good weekends. Obviously, they played well this weekend. They're now perfectly, once again, 500 at 78-78. They're not going to the playoffs. They're technically not eliminated as of today. They're 6 games back with 6 games to play.
That is what's trending here on Cody and Gold. Don't forget, on Mondays, our lunch partner is 30 Hop. Mondays, $5.99 classic burgers. 30 Hop, your new go-to. Of course, it's an American bar and kitchen with bold flavors, local taps, unbelievable patios, and an unbeatable happy hour. Go out to Lee Summit, check out 30 Hop, or just down the street from us here at Merriam Grand Station. They're a brand new location. They're a proud lunch partner here on Cody and Gold. Stop in for lunch, stay for happy hour, take advantage of that $5.99 classic burger on Mondays. 30hop.com. That's 30hop.com. Local beer, American Eats, big patio. We're awaiting Andy Reid's press conference. You are not missing any of that. We'll go out there live as soon as he starts talking. Don't expect much on the injury front on Mondays. You guys know that by now, but be curious to see. He wasn't asked, I don't believe, about Harrison Butker and the kicking after the game as much. I'm sure somebody will ask him a little bit about what they think is going on there. Is he healthy? Among other things, as we discussed that earlier. It's a troubling trend now for Butker, just with the 4 misses 3 weeks into the season. So I want to hear what Andy Reid has to say about that. He's already been asked 2 or 3 times about the Travis Kelce sideline thing. I doubt he's going to really get into that anymore.
And if he did, he's definitely not going to make a big deal about it. He's made it pretty clear. He's burying that, I guess. And like, to your point, it's just, and we don't have to hit that a million times over. I understand where they're coming from on that. But the Travis Kelce thing, it's not like it's not worthy of just ignoring, in the sense that I do think there's probably more than
just not every week.
On.
That my only thing is just not every week. The emotions totally get it. He should be emotional. I love the fact that also Andy Reid was barking back and all that. I think that can be good, but it's a weekly thing now. That's the only problem.
How surprised were you at Worthy getting off the list on Saturday?
Dude, we all texted.
I know, because the game, that's more the talking point, but just while we're waiting for Andy, I was surprised, very surprised that Worthy was not available.
We were texting, the 3 of us, on Saturday when that news happened. Drew, I don't know if you sent us the link initially or whatever it was, and I was surprised.
Yeah, I think so.
By that. Things were trending towards him playing. We had multiple guests on the show, including Nate Taylor and others last week, and everybody believed, barring a setback, he was going to play. He was officially listed as questionable on Friday, then they ruled him out. He did not travel with the team. I guess at this point, I have to assume that they felt like, all right, we can wait one more week and get him back for the Ravens game. And I wonder if there's not a little bit of gamesmanship there. I told you I didn't think, offensively they're good enough to hold players back that can help them win. In the first half, it sure looked like obviously they could have used Xavier Worthy. But I guess now is the benefit if you get him back for the Ravens game. You only in the year 2025, if you're the Ravens, you only have 3 plays. You only have 3 plays with Xavier Worthy on the field. You don't know what the hell they're going to do with Worthy. Is that the advantage you get now if you're the Chiefs? I'm just trying to think.
That can't be. They were so desperate for a win, like we talked about. They couldn't just be stashing Worthy to play tricks on the Ravens. They obviously didn't think he could play, which makes me question whether he can play on Sunday. Well, I know it's 6 days away, but his practice. If he never gets past limited participant,
that's the thing. Yeah, and he hasn't had a full practice yet. He's been limited. We talked about it. Yeah, I mean, last week, I'm with you that I didn't think they had the luxury to hold a player back or anything like that. That seemed a bit crazy. But if he does play Sunday, I do think there is an advantage to it now that you've gotten through the Giants game. Whether that was their intention or not, I don't know. But there is only a handful of plays, man, on film for what you might want to do with Xavier Worthy. Yes, last year, but that was last year. So you have some new wrinkles. We know their whole game plan in week 1 was kind of thrown out the window when Worthy got out. So I am a little excited. Is there a chance that they can catch the Ravens at least early on in the game off guard at all with some things that they haven't shown anything on tape with Xavier Worthy? But I agree that he has to at least have one full practice. Maybe it's not tomorrow, maybe or Wednesday. Maybe we have to wait until Thursday for it.
Yeah, it might very well be. And they might keep it close to the vest for the same reason we mentioned before. They're not going to give away any kind of secret. Hell, maybe it worked to their advantage a little bit in the sense that the Giants, up until Saturday, might have spent a good chunk of their game planning gold working on the idea that Xavier Worthy might also be available.
Yeah, we're hearing it might be a couple more minutes at least on Andy Reid with some meetings that are wrapping up. So sometimes with these, we could be in 3 minutes from now. It could be 15 minutes. So just a heads up, you haven't missed anything when it comes to Andy Reid and his media availability today on a Monday right here on 96.5 The Fan. The other part, too, on Saturday, Sunday, I guess we had to wait officially for, but we kind of knew it was trending in this direction. On the flip side of Worthy, there was Jalen Royals, who finally was a full participant and was active on game day, but did anybody look at a snap? Did he even get did he get a snap?
I don't think he was on the field at all.
He was active, though, right?
He was active.
He didn't even get a snap in the game, so they continued to slow play him. In fairness, I will say with that, while he was a full participant, that was the first 2 practices he's had as a full practice as a Chief.
And he wasn't practicing at the end towards training.
That's what I mean. So that one makes a little bit more sense, but I am, I guess, a little surprised he didn't get a single snap in the game.
Me too, but at the same time, this is also just reality versus sometimes what they've been able to get out of guys after the 3rd round. He's a 4th-round rookie wide receiver, hasn't practiced. Historically, that is not a player that plays. Just straight up. That's not a player that plays. Under almost any circumstances, that's not a player who plays. And no, he did not get, based on this list from Nick Jacobs, always sends out the snap counts, he did not get a single one. The only one that was confusing to me at the end was, did you guys see that Simmons didn't play the final couple snaps of the game?
6 plays. I don't know what was up there. That'll be something maybe...
And to go with the dehydration weirdo.
I did not notice that.
And by the way, dehydration, they need up on the injury report for something different later in the week. So I don't think it was dehydration, but there's something funky. I wonder if Simmons is going through a little something medically that they don't want to.
I don't know. That's all speculation at this point. I'm not sure. Yeah, we know last week the 4 or 5 plays that prompted him to come to the sideline, they said dehydration. Simmons was kind of not wanting to talk about in the locker room after the game, and he obviously started this game, and then the final 6 he didn't finish. So I don't know what the weather was like in New York. I don't think it was very hot, so it doesn't mean you can't be dehydrated if that was actually the reason. But I don't know. There's people have been speculating about different things online, but I'm not sure. And the Chiefs at this point haven't disclosed anything.
No, again, it's purely speculation. It's just me saying he's not playing the final 6. He sat out for the series in the other one, and they're like, "What's going on?" Well, he was dehydrated. I'm like, I went back. I don't even think you handed him a Gatorade.
The whole left side of the line was different the final 6 plays. It was Simmons, Moore was in, and Caliendo was in. So Kingsley also came out. Were they just trying to? I don't know.
I guess getting everyone a breather. Yeah.
I mean,
that doesn't make any sense.
Nobody does it. Nobody.
They're up
nobody gives
22-9.
Starting left tackle and left guard a breather the final 6 plays of the game.
I don't know what was going on.
No, we're all talking it out. I
didn't think Simmons was playing. I mean, he made some mistakes, just so did Kingsley, but they both had some good moments in that game.
You know what's weird? I don't know what the PFF grades say, and someone might be like, "Oh, the grade says otherwise." I actually thought Kingsley had one of his better games as a pro.
I too. He got beat a couple, and
I'm not saying he didn't get beat. That doesn't mean he didn't get beat, for sure. I just think, considering the front he was going up against, and also they were having Abdul Carter line up as a linebacker, I believe Kingsley had one of his better games as a guard, certainly, and even as a Chief.
Maybe, yeah, I could make an argument for his best game, honestly. And again, the Giants intentionally isolated all the offensive linemen. It's like, all right, it's 1 versus 1, because they figured they could probably beat Kingsley in that scenario, and came up relatively short. Not saying he never lost. He definitely lost a couple of times, but he won a lot more times than I'm accustomed to.
All right, let's do a little stock up, stock down while we're waiting for Andy Reid to speak to the media. You want to start us off a little stock up?
Yeah, stock up for me. Blocked kicks. Take players out of it. The blocked kick, if you had bought stock in blocked kicks, through the roof, Gold. I don't know if you guys were watching the back half of Red Zone there at the end of the noon slate, but it was block kick, block cut,
it was awesome.
Block kick, missed kick, whatever, and then it was just all game winners after that. Is there something different going on that teams have figured out, or just one of those weeks? I don't know, but either way, the pure amount of blocked punts and kicks in the games yesterday was absurd. Absurd. All-time high.
7 NFL games in which the game-winning score came with the final 3 minutes of the fourth quarter.
How about that, huh?
It's just craziness there. I don't think it's anything more than just it was one of those weird days and one of those awesome NFL red zone final half hours. It's swinging a lot of survivor pools, a lot of people's bets, fantasy football implications, all of it. It was a fun finish to the noon slate. Stock up for me. Shane Steichen,
hard not to
head coach of the Colts. I know everybody's having fun with Indiana Jones, but at some point, let's give some credit to the head coach whose job was in jeopardy heading into the season. They need to have a good year. They're 3-0. We're now venturing towards not just it's a cool story to could the Colts surprise people and have much bigger?
Are they legit?
Much bigger convo. Look with Daniel Jones? Let's still be real. I think there are limitations. I do not think they're a Super Bowl contender, but division. Yeah, I think they got a real shot to compete in that division. Obviously, when you start 3-0, I think they also have one division win so far?
Yes.
They just played the Titans. That's it's only one division win. And the Broncos have lost 2 in a row, but we still think the Broncos will be good. And then in week 1, they beat a Dolphins team that we think stinks. So I don't know what the next game is for the Colts on their schedule, but Shane Steichen deserves some credit. His stock is definitely up.
We'll get Drew's stock up in just a second, and I hope I'm not seeing anyone's stock down. That also means stock down on Dable, right? That he couldn't make Daniel Jones any good, and that Daniel Jones is the starter of the Colts, and he's punted 1 time in 3 games. That's not great for Dable.
Hang on. In fairness, are we sure that it's... I think it's a culmination of everything. Because if you look at the weapons, that the Colts... Tyler Warren is every bit of legit. I think is what he was coming into the draft.
Saquon, they had
and
weapons.
Jonathan Taylor is... I think there's a... It's fair to point it out. I just also think it's a mix of everything.
All right, who's your stock up, Drew?
So my stock up is just the Chargers in general. Like, I think...
Okay.
I asked you earlier how good they were, and you said that you didn't think they were a Super Bowl contender, but they were definitely a team that could be top 5 in the NFL. I think we're getting close to saying that they are a Super Bowl contender just because of the type of team that they are. Justin Herbert's going to have to prove it in the playoffs, of course, before anything else. I think before we really become believers, I think we have to see it kind of with this Chargers team. But based on how they've played, there's no reason that they can't go and make a run and actually do what it seems like every national pundit thinks the Chargers can do or are talented enough to do, and that's make a run at an AFC title game.
Stock down. Let's get to stock down. CJ Stroud, I did not think I'd be saying this about a year and a half ago when he was a top 10 quarterback in his rookie season. Last year, sophomore slump, O-line stinks. Look, the O-line is still not good, but his football team is 0-3. The Texans are in big trouble. The stats would obviously tell us that their chance of making the postseason fewer than 1% at this point in time. The numbers are troubling, though, for Stroud. So his rookie year, he had a 100 passer rating, 2.2% on turnover-worthy throws, 12% off target. This year, and this is a trend, it was worse last year. Now, 76.9 passer rating, 4.5% of his throws are turnover-worthy throws, 15% of them are off target. It's a mess. Yes, the O-line is contributing, but I would be very concerned all of a sudden about C.J. Stroud if I were the Texans.
I think it's more than fair to be worried about because
I think they're going to win this week. They're playing, I think, is it the Saints or the Titans or somebody like that?
But they look like the 3rd worst team in their own division.
Yeah.
Like the Jags look more comfortable than them. The Colts certainly look way better than them.
Oh, yeah.
They're starting to look like the basement dwellers somehow in the AFC South. That can't be good news.
Yeah.
For
I almost went Jake Browning, but there would have to be stock to purchase for me to stock down.
Look.
Yeah, stocking down a backup quarterback is tough.
Stock is down. Not based on where I had ranked him before the game, but certainly before where some people on this show had Jake Browning amongst the backup quarterbacks. We don't have to
He's still a
pick
backup quarterback.
But you made it sound
Anyways.
like you sent me clips on Saturday being like, look at this NFL-worthy throw.
And you admitted as much, though.
That was a sick throw.
You are correct. We were getting highlights sent to us on Saturday from Drew about their backup quarterback.
There was one thing that I saw, and it wasn't even from it was from a national reporter. I don't remember who. It might have been Schultz, actually.
It wasn't a national reporter. He had Jamar Chase in his profile photo.
Yeah.
So, like, for what it's worth, maybe a national reporter retweeted it. The person whose video
That
you
was
sent
right,
me
yeah.
had Jamar Chase in
That's
his
where I
profile
got it
photo.
from.
Let's talk stock down, not
Yeah.
Jake Browning on my end. It's the
Thank you.
Cowboys defense without Micah Parsons. I'm sorry, was he the glue that was holding that whole thing together? Because Micah Parsons left Dallas, and they look like the worst defense I've ever seen in the history of the NFL. Literally, one player is gone, and now you can't guard anybody or stop anyone?
Jerry Jones, man.
Did the whole defense quit the second Micah Parsons ended up as a Green Bay Packer? Because goodness, they are not just bad on defense. They're the worst defense in the NFL through 3 games, which is really saying something because, again, only one player changed from a defense that was not nearly this bad over the last few years.
Over the course of their time, so they played good in the second half against the Eagles, but they gave up, I think it was 20 points in the first half against them. They gave up 40 to the Giants. Then they gave up 31 to the Bears yesterday. Like, yeah, they're on pace for an all-time bad season. My stock down is Falcons offensive coordinator, Zach Robinson. I was going to say Raheem Morris, but I think him being more of the defensive guy side of things. Granted, they gave up 30 points to the Panthers yesterday, but for them to have a nothing burger, lose 30-0 to the Carolina Panthers, man, and they got all that talent. They got Drake London, they've got Darnell Mooney, they've got Kyle Pitts who's playing better, Bijan Robinson, of course, Tyler Algier. Like it's not the Giants' offense. It's not the Titans' offense. I mean, they got some pieces there where them throwing up 0 points is a problem, and it feels like they have under-delivered on the expectations kind of that we might have had for this team. Not that they were going to win the division, but I think that we expected them to be a little bit better,
Yeah, week 3 is always like a really, really interesting week. It's a tough week to figure out going into it because anytime you have a lot of the, a bunch of 0-2, 0-2 games, and of course I think we had 2-0 teams playing 2-0 teams or whatever it may be. But other than that, like you think you start to figure out what these teams are. It takes until week 3 where I think you get a much better idea. And so that's what happened yesterday. Then all of a sudden you get a wrinkle in it and the Packers lose to the Cleveland Browns out of nowhere. I still don't know how they lost that. Oh yeah, it eliminated and the one out in Vegas. I think 1,500 or 1,600 of the entries had the Browns or had the Packers. I'm sorry. Now, good news for our show, the Circa Millions contest. We're doing you, me, Dusty, Rob, Speck, Bink. We're 4-0. We could be 5-0 if the Lions cover the 4.5 tonight. Otherwise, we know we're guaranteed 4-1. So we're in business now. Now, week 1 was a disaster. We're working our way up.
We're heading in the right direction. That's what matters. You'd mentioned the week 3 stuff. This is how I feel about like when you mentioned CJ Stroud. My big swing year for quarterbacks and deciding whether they're good is year 3. And that includes even if they had a great rookie year or a great second year. Year 3 is the true deciding factor as if you are going to take another level and put yourself in the echelon of quarterbacks in which you belong. You're going to ascend to the top 10 ranks, or you are going to get stuck in the wash, in my opinion, forever. CJ Stroud is in the wash forever. That's it. He's going to get through the end of this year, and we're not going to be moved by his play. And he's going to be stuck in you're the 12th to 17th best quarterback. And that's whatever. In Kansas City, you don't have to worry about that because you have Patrick Mahomes here. You worry about
you think
real
he's becoming
contenders.
Trevor Lawrence, essentially.
Yeah, I think he's falling into the wash like everyone. He's better than Trevor Lawrence.
Because his rookie year, because his rookie year was better than anything we ever saw from Lawrence. Obviously, his stock is down. I don't know if I'm where you're at.
I'm not giving up on him.
Yeah, so I think the stock is down. The argument is should you be buying it? I guess is the question, right? I think his stock is down. Do I think that now he has no chance of ever being viewed as one of the better quarterbacks in the league? I'm not ready to just end it. I think that's too early because we did see an unbelievable rookie year. I think right now you have to question the offensive line and his confidence in them, and now have they just kind of screwed them all up? Like, is it they've had 2 or 3 OCs now since he's been the quarterback. Bobby Slowick was when they were at their best, and then he flamed out pretty quick. And so I think right now it's fair to be critical of even their head coach, who we all thought a couple years ago was going to be one of the better head coaches in the league. That's the same thing can be said for DeMeco Ryan, who I think is very good, but this is now a team last year that was disappointing, and now they're 0-3. Like the Texans are not making the postseason.
The problem is what you mentioned earlier, which is now, Gold. Do you know what happens? Now they're 0-3. They end up getting through a terrible year. They fire DeMeco Ryans, and they start all over on offense, all over an offensive coordinator. And has this ever worked for a young quarterback? Not until they get to stop 4 in a different team and somebody puts some pieces around him. I
think they would have to win 5 games or something for him to get fired. I don't think DeMeco's getting
3. It's not like
I
barreling
think
towards that.
If they could still recover and win basically 7+ or 6+, I think they would give DeMeco another year because of the success that they had prior. But the expectation in the bar is much higher now in Houston than just being, a fringe wild card team.
It's
or
not like the defense
even a division winner and one and done kind of thing.
And he's a defensive guy, and the defense has played pretty well. I think it's just to your point, and I guess this eventually falls on the head coach too, of who you have as your offensive coordinator, who you bring in, and being able to evaluate that just as much as it is the players who you bring in too. But defensively, like they're good, and you look at the roster, and it's not a bad roster other than the offensive line has just been like. Is Laramie Tunsil still there, or is he?
No, Tunsil's with the Commanders.
Okay, right, yeah. So yeah, they've kind of ruined the just protection for CJ Stroud, which I think that goes into a lot of different things with confidence. Like we even talk about it with Patrick Mahomes at times, where even it's thrown Patrick Mahomes off in being. To have the confidence of knowing I'm going to have the time to get the ball where it needs to go. Imagine what it's doing to a guy like CJ Stroud, where it might even be more overwhelming.
His confidence looks shot. That's the biggest problem, I think, for him right now. So certainly significant issues for the Texans in an AFC South that right now has the Colts atop the division at 3-0. Jags are 2-1.
Yeah, they're competitive.
The Titans, obviously, look, it's a rookie quarterback.
Titans are awful.
Yeah, the Titans stink. They just do.
I kept thinking, like, I saw
the
a couple
Chiefs
of things
do play
I liked.
them later this year, don't they?
Yeah.
In December or something?
Are the Titans worse or are the Saints worse? Because the Saints, I know that it's not Kellen Moore's fault necessarily, but the Saints just...
I think
Spencer hasn't even played that bad.
I think the Saints have been more competitive than the Titans overall.
I don't know. Not after last week.
They're scared.
After yesterday.
Yeah, but go look at the Saints. They played the Niners with Mac Jones. They played Seattle, and then
they got beat by 30 yesterday, too. I mean, it's not like they got
destroyed by Sam Darnold. I don't know. It's a different status of the organization because Kellen Moore, first-year head coach, they clearly know this year's going in was going to be brutal.
The team's just not
the Titans, you have a young quarterback.
But the number one overall pick.
But he's your franchise quarterback in the future. You want to see some progress. It's only been 3 weeks, though. Let's be fair to him. I told you I'm just not sold on Callahan as their head coach. By the way, thinking of head coaches, obviously Andy Reid running about 20 minutes late so far. We are expecting still to hear from Andy Reid exclusively here on 96.5 The Fan. So at some point in time, we will get back out to Arrowhead and hear from him.
No, it's not. I'm not saying CJ Stroud is I'm like, teams love having quarterbacks as good as CJ Stroud because it's better than having bad quarterbacks, right? But I just think it's been a while. This is probably something we've under-discussed is just like NFL fans. We know the top 4 quarterbacks in the NFL. We've long established it. We know it's Burrow, Lamar, Mahomes, and Josh Allen. But it's been a while since somebody like competed to be in that group or to be in that secondary group, the 5 through 7 group. It feels like people get mentioned in that like it's supposed to be Stroud or supposed to be these other guys. But it's been the same dudes in that group too. The movement on 1 through 8, in my opinion, has not swayed much. The Stafford, Herbert, wherever you put, like, those guys
1
have
through
all
8
been...
has because after his rookie year, people were putting Stroud inside the top 8. People were putting Stroud at 8 after his rookie year. So, I mean, I think
guess
it has...
the last 2 years, but yeah, that's fair.
So I think it's changed. I mean, Jalen Hurts, despite the Super Bowl, there's still some people that are, including myself, skeptical long-term of, like, where I would rank him. But some people have him in the top 10. Some people don't. Even having the top 10.
It'd be crazy to have him below.
I know, but he's not consensus top 10. And so some people have him as high as 5, though. So I actually think there's more movement 5 through 10. 1 through 4, 1 through 5, I'm with you.
Movement.
5 through 10 or 6 through 10, however you want to break it down. I actually think there's a lot of disagreement on where people would put some of these quarterbacks,
Like Baker is
Baker's
one of them,
a top 10 quarterback in the league.
For sure.
It doesn't sound, quote unquote, sound right, but he is.
Yeah.
If Herbert does big things this year, do you think he has a chance to like enter the conversation amongst the other 4?
He could get back in if he were to win the division and win a playoff game or 2. It requires a playoff game or 2.
He better get to at least an AFC title game.
Yeah, we're all just waiting. We're all just waiting on. I think
if
that
Justin Herbert won
playoff game to happen.
Yeah, like if they win the division and they win wild card weekend and even if they lose in a close one division round, that will get some people. If he throws 3 picks or something, no. But if he plays well and they lose on a last-second field goal in the divisional round, and otherwise his numbers are great all year, I think there would be a conversation again about him being fringe top 10 again. I do think he has the ability to do that. I want to see, though, I think we all do, what happens when it's a game that they have to win or they can win to lock up something, as in a division, as in a playoff win. That's the next hurdle for Justin Herbert. All right, coming up next, we still are hoping to hear from Andy Reid right here on 96.5 The Fan. And then I want to talk about Taekwon Thornton, who continues to be very, very important to this Chiefs offense and should be the rest of the season.
What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? It's Trey Smith. You're listening to Cody and Gold weekdays 10 to 2 on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Man, you haven't been feeling yourself, right? It's just like, I don't know, something's not quite right. How do I solve these things? What do I need to look into? Low T Synergen X, Low T Center and Synergen X are ready to help you get back to who you were before. They're the real MVPs of testosterone. They're happy to help you get those levels checked. Make sure that you're comfortable where you've been, what you've been feeling, and getting you back to the way you've been before. And I know that it's easier said because you're like, what can I do? You can choose between in-office treatment or just doing them over the phone. Those are available to you online, right? You can book these meetings online and not have to just make those decisions. You get lots of options over there for TRT treatment that's individualized to you, not just some blanket treatment they give to everyone. At Synergen X and Low T, they will conveniently locate clinics around town and individualize that treatment for you. They treat women as well, so you can come in and get tested for those levels. Have you been waiting? Why not get the test and find out where your T levels are and find out what they can do for you? So don't wait any longer. Get back to yourself and book your appointment now at trtmvp.com. That's trtmvp.com. You'll be wishing you did it sooner.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue.
Around here, we've got each other's backs. When it comes to health insurance, we want that same kind of support. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City gets that. They're from around here too. Backed by the national strength of the Cross and Shield, they help you make confident choices, no matter where you are. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are. That's the benefit of blue.
Fall's the best time of year to clean up the outside of your home or business, and the best way to do that is with a fresh coat of paint from my friends at CertaPro Painters. You want your home or business to make a great impression, and that starts with the exterior. And when you choose CertaPro Painters, you're choosing the best in the business for your job. CertaPro Painters go the extra mile. If there's a way to save you money, they'll let you know, and they take care of every detail from start to cleanup. So do what we did and schedule your free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated.
Whether you're looking for a Bronco, an Explorer, an F-150, or even a commercial vehicle, Robside Ford has the selection.
That's right, Kevin. We've got it all. And we've got the lowest prices in Kansas City. No gimmicks, just great deals on every new Ford.
And it's not just inventory, it's how you do business. Robside Ford makes it very simple.
We do it different on purpose. Non-commissioned sales team, upfront transparent pricing, top dollar trade-in values, and a process that's actually easy.
You've even got the reputation to back it up, Bobby. Kansas City's only top-rated Ford dealer on Google. 4.8 stars, 3,000 reviews. Wow.
And this year, we're proud to be voted Best Car Dealership in KC by Kansas City Magazine.
So if you're ready for a better car buying experience,
come see us at 135th and State Line or check us out at robsight.com.
From Broncos to F-150s to work trucks, Robside Ford has what you need.
If you want simple and easy, you're not going to find a better spot.
Robside Ford. Buy right. Drive happy.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hi, I'm Michael from the Warren Treaty. You know the jingle. Now discover the facts about Ozempic, a GLP-1. Only Novo Nordisk makes FDA-approved Ozempic. Learn about the real thing.
Talk to your healthcare professional today. Call 1-833-OZEMPIC or visit Ozempic.com to view the medication guide and to learn more about Ozempic. Semaglutide injection 0.5 milligram, 1 milligram, and 2 milligrams.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, want to hear something great? Right now at Wendy's, you can get 2 of the #1 selling bacon cheeseburger in all fast food, the JBC, plus medium fries and a medium soft drink for just $8. Want to hear something else great? Double the burger means double the bacon. Now that's a game changer. 2 of the #1 bacon cheeseburgers with fries and a drink for just $8. Gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Request $8 JBC meal deal to obtain discount. Individual items at regular price.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter?
Right? And the best part? They accept Discover.
Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer.
Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times.
Right. So we shouldn't get the parachute pants?
These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2025 Nielsen report.
Tulsa is my home now.
Academy Award nominee Sylvester Stallone stars in the Paramount Plus original series, Tulsa King.
This distillery is a very interesting business. And we gotta know the enemy.
From Taylor Sheridan, co-creator of Landman.
What are you saying? I'm a rat! If you think you're gonna take me out, it's gonna be really difficult.
Tulsa King. New season now streaming exclusively on Paramount Plus.
Chiefs coverage sponsored by Renner Garage Door. RENNER forward and back.
Hey, it's almost Andy Reid. Renner Garage Door has proudly served our community for decades. The best styles, technology, and family values. That's Renner. Get your free repair or replacement quote today. Forward and back.
RENNER. RENNER.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Back here on Cody and Gold, Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. We are still awaiting Andy Reid's press conference, although I believe we are going to head out there just a second. Of course, on Mondays, the only place you can hear from Andy Reid is 96.5 The Fan. So we will head out to Arrowhead right now, where our press conference with Andy Reid are brought to you by Arvest Bank, believing in the power of serving others.
I think we came out of the game pretty clean in that area. Be some good things we can learn from this game. It was great to obviously get the win, but there's some things we can take out of this, and they'll help us down the road. I like the effort from the guys, in particular. On the offensive side, from the second half was more productive that way. I thought defensively we played another very solid football game, and the turnovers were beautiful. We need to keep that coming. That's a real plus when you can get those. And then offensively, I thought just that second quarter was not very good football, and we've got to make sure that we correct that as coaches and players in that area. So we've got to make sure we're putting them in the right position to make plays, and then when given an opportunity, that we've got to make sure we do the right thing. So, but we came out the second half and put some things together. I like the way guys stuck together and worked hard. I think the question came up yesterday about Travis and the intensity and all that. And is he frustrated or not frustrated? Well, he's seen how the offense works, and so when things aren't going the right way, that's he's very aware of that. He's a pretty smart guy, and he's been doing it longer than anybody else on this team has been doing it. So he wants to make sure that he gets that point across to the guys, and so he does that, and that's, I'm okay with that part. And he knows also like the coaches know where we can go with this too, and the growth that we can have here, and we need to take care of business in that area. And then special teams wise, we can do, Bud had a couple, he was off on a couple, but that's he'll get all that corrected. So and Ariza had another pretty good day. So for that, time's yours.
We'll go ahead and start with Jesse Newell.
Hey, Andy, we didn't get a chance to talk to you about Xavier after you guys ruled him out on Saturday. I just wondered his outlook, week to week for you guys now.
Yeah, so he was real positive coming in, and he was, mentally he was saying, I'm going to play in the game, which you've got to kind of take that approach with that type of an injury, and he did. I mean, he came out and he practiced and did the best he could, but it just wasn't right. And so between Xavier and the doctors and so on, we thought it was best if he didn't play.
We'll go next to Herbie.
Hey, Coach. Good afternoon. Sticking with the wide receiver questions, you should be able to get Rashee Rice back this week. What are you expecting out of him, and how excited is that for you to have him back in the building? And then second, Jalen Royals didn't play last night. What went into that decision?
Sure. Well, Jalen just came back, so I had him there as kind of emergency in case we absolutely needed him. But his first week of practice in a month was last week, and he's a rookie and so on. So this was really his first game of suiting up, and I mean, you can figure out the rest of it. But he'll continue to work in there. It's great to have him back. It's great to have him back. So, and then we do get 4 back, and I know the guys will be fired up about that to see him. He can't practice, he can't be on the field, but he can do the other stuff. And just having him around, he's a good positive energy to have around.
We'll go next to Sarin.
Coach, just can you give us an update on where you think you got with the running game, and what you think? I know it was better, but they had really had some trouble stopping the run. And did you think maybe you left some yards out there in that game?
Yes, and first of all, that defensive line I think is special. That's a good group. They started going against the Cowboys. They started doing their penny front, which is they put 5D linemen in there. And so they started off doing that with us, and for our guys to be able to run the ball, normally running against us, that's a tough haul. But our guys did a pretty good job with it. I was proud of Pop and Kareem. They put together, a good day. We didn't have the big explosive runs, but we had that 5-yard run and a couple 7-yard runs that were positive. And it was our best rush day against a good D line. So I like the way we matched up with them. I thought the big guys played well up front for the most part of the run and the pass game. So that can help us down the road. But the run, to answer your question, the run was better. Did we leave something on the field with it? Well, could I have called more? I probably could have called more if that's what that means. Yeah.
And then just a follow-up, how much did the Giants kind of spy on Pat? Maybe he'd been so effective running the ball. And is that something you think you're going to see more of moving forward?
Yeah, they did a little bit, but that's with 51, they had a little thing with him there. And he's a heck of a player, by the way. He's going to be tremendous for this league. But yeah, I mean, they can do that. That's okay. He's one of their better pass rushers, so I wouldn't spy him too much.
We'll go next to Matt Derrick.
Hey, Coach, one quick housekeeping question, and I'll have a second question. But Josh Simmons came out, Jalen Moore came in on those last 2 drives, assuming that's not injury related. Was that just an opportunity to get Jalen some snaps?
Yeah, just to get him in and get some reps there. Yeah.
And Spags used a lot of split safeties yesterday and kind of splitting the field a little bit. And compared to what those Giants receivers and Russell Wilson were able to do last week, I mean, how effective was that game plan, and how proud were you of the guys being able to execute that?
Yeah, I was very proud of him. I thought defensively we played well. Spags had a great game plan for him. Russell's had some big days against us, and to be able to hold him where we did, I thought was a plus. We negated some of those long balls that he had been hitting, and thought that was a big thing going into the game. So, but I thought Spags' his plan was spot on for him, in both the run and the pass game. So.
Okay, Coach, it looks like that's all we got for you today.
All right, so that was Andy Reid live here on 96.5 The Fan. Mondays, of course, when you hear Andy Reid, it's brought to you by Arvest Bank, believing in the power of serving others. Couple things from Andy, obviously no new injury updates. We kind of figured that. Was talking about the end there. I think it was Matt Derrick that asked the question. We were wondering just like what happened the final 6 plays or whatever. He says they just wanted to give Jalen Moore and Caliendo some reps or whatever.
He was set up to give that answer, so
I have no idea.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Simmons and Kingsley both had bad Pro Football Focus grades, as did Jawan Taylor. I would say their grades don't indicate some of the good they did in those games. And so I don't think it's that. It's too, my only thing is it's 2 weeks now where something funky's happened there. And then the first one, like the dehydration storyline still doesn't really track. And so like, it doesn't track with what we saw in reality. And so like some of it is that. So I don't know, man. Doesn't make a ton of sense, but at the same time, I think maybe they're slow walking.
Who knows?
Something going on there, but we'll just have to keep an eye on it.
He also acknowledged what we knew, which is Rashee Rice can get back in the building this week. He mentioned how the guys are going to be fired up to see him. Remember, he cannot practice, he cannot be on the field, but he can at least be in meetings and just kind of be around everybody again, which I'm sure will be nice for him to be around the facility, and I'm sure the guys will enjoy that, especially with last week and the kind of storyline that came from the T-shirts and the free rice thing and everything that happened. But remember, he's still weeks away from being back on the field.
I got to say, the other part that stood out to me, because obviously there wasn't like a ton there today.
No, not really.
But the other thing that stood out to me is, unprompted, he decided to once again comment on the Travis Kelce thing. He wasn't asked. He'd already been asked twice and answered it twice. And in his open monologue, when he's trying to handle some of those things, he went out of his way to say he's seen the offense and he wants to get that point across to the guys. Mm-hmm. I'm okay with that, and kind of reiterated it. This has a lot of the building on fire behind you. Nothing to see here. Don't worry. Why are you telling me that? You already told me it's fine twice. Now you're making the more you tell me it's fine, the less I believe it.
Well, I agree. I think some of that you know this. You've been in media long enough, Cody. When opening statements from any figure, if they want to control the narrative, right? So they will mention that, and with hopes that you don't ask them about it. And in this case, nobody asked him again about it.
No, it wasn't a follow up. And again,
I think that's a PR thing in general. Like if you address in your statement how you want to address it, and then you kind of hope, and then you can say, "Well, I already addressed it."
I already talked
that's not what happened here, but that's what usually happens.
But this, I don't remember. It was probably like a month ago. We joked about this on the air. If your buddy keeps saying I'm fine, things are fine, I'm not mad, you're mad.
Let me say
it's
though,
always something a little funky.
In fairness, I do think it's fine. I told you, I don't.
Oh, in the long run.
I don't. Think every single week the Kelce sideline thing is not good in general. Do I think there's an issue between Andy Reid and Travis Kelce? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I think they are totally fine. I think so do you. So it's just one of those goes back to the optics stuff.
Little news out of college basketball.
Yeah.
According to Pete Thamel, Bruce Pearl is expected to retire as Auburn's basketball coach immediately after 11 seasons as their head coach. Obviously choosing to do it on September 22nd with college basketball around the corner.
Just like what Tony Bennett did last year. Basically the same thing.
Exactly the same thing, because his son, Stephen Pearl, is expected to be the coach for the upcoming season. I understand nepotism exists, and I'm not even saying I wouldn't try to help my own kid out. I get how life works. He's clearly was going to quit this whole time, Drew. Waited to quit until the last minute So they had no choice but to hire Stephen Pearl.
It seems like
it definitely puts him in a spot where they didn't have much of an option. But to hire his son, who's been an assistant, I think, for 5 years or something, maybe more. His son played at Tennessee when he was the coach. Bruce Pearl's been at Auburn for about 11 years now. Obviously, has had great success there. 2 Final Four appearances, including this past year.
Yeah.
They're not to get too in the weeds with this. The speculation, I guess there were rumblings around the program for a while that this was going to happen, though. The thought is he's going to run for political office. That's the speculation that's out there. So we don't have to go too far in the weeds there. But yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
He's going to run for office.
Yeah.
And have his son coach.
That's the speculation.
I will say, can you set up your kid better for success? Take a Final Four team from the last year with top recruits and just say, here's your squad. I mean,
they don't have Janai Broom, so
yeah, but I mean, you're still set
tough.
up pretty good. Like that's setting up your team pretty good. I would say if you're like a rookie head coach. And by the way, your first head coaching job being Auburn in the SEC.
Because his son's like 35 or 30, like something. He's young. He's very young.
It's a hell of a first gig in college basketball.
Oh yeah. No question. Yeah.
That's all. It's just like, that's a hell of a first gig. Let's get to it, Drew.
Random question.
Random question today brought to you by Kansas City Urology Care at KCUC. Remember, you see the best in KC. Visit kcurology.com today. For you, Gold. For you, Drew. Text line 913-586-7965. As always, love you to follow us on YouTube and Twitch. Put us at the top of your page at the Fan 965, and you can get notifications pop to the top of your feed when you're looking for the video stream. All right. Question today is, how would you have handled it? It happened Friday night.
Okay.
Yep, park football game.
You did go. Okay.
I did go. My daughter performed at halftime as part of a Pommy camp thing, right? They did like 2 minutes. It was like to a song from, it was really light, easy. Kids seemed to have fun. Whatever. Super easy. So they tell us where to sit. They're like, hey, north side between the 15 and the 30. We're getting up there, and there's like one ushery person's like, hey, you can just sit up here. This is about where they'll be. Someone who's working for the dance team. You're like, okay, great. Thanks. You go sit up there. It's pretty clear early on. We're like, oh, we're clearly closer to like the students than the parents. There's a lot of students here. But we're like, you know what? Whatever. It's open seats. And there's plenty of seats. Not like an issue at the time. Pretty full, but like there's places for us to sit. We're fine. Halftime rolls around. Everybody in the student section stands the whole time. Mistake on our end, but life is life. You just stand up, watch the game. Didn't say anything. Not their job to sit. They're excited about the game. My daughter was standing watching. Great, no problem. Halftime rolls around, and a couple of teenagers start getting real bossy about where we need to move as it relates to it. Started saying to my father-in-law, hey, you got to go back. This is the student section.
Where
We're allowing you to be here. That's what they said. And then they called my father-in-law. He was like, hey, we've been sitting here the whole time. My daughter, he said, my granddaughter's getting ready to perform.
What?
And they said, you have to move back because apparently they sit in different sides. Wouldn't explain it. And then started calling him a Richard to his face.
Oh.
A 70-year-old man. Started calling him a Richard. He's like, hey, man, stop being such a Richard.
That's so disrespectful.
You're in the student. This is our section. We're letting you be here. You have to move. What's the next move? What is the following steps you would take to a group of 16-year-olds?
Hey, hang on. I want to know what happened before I give my answer. Well, okay. Is there anything that happened next?
He fought back, as in verbally.
Yeah.
And my wife was immediately like, listen, we're not just immediately mommed.
Let's go.
Dressed them down.
Yes.
Immediately.
Proper
started
response.
dressing down like, we're here to watch our daughter. We've been sitting here and we're not
Well, that's what
moving.
I'm confused by. You guys sat there the whole first half. They didn't say anything to you.
They apparently in the student section stand on a set of, they don't stand in front of the bleacher. They stand on the actual seats.
Okay.
Apparently at halftime, as a general, they sit on the ones behind the one they were standing.
Yeah, I get that.
They did not explain any of that and just started rudely demanding everyone move out of their way.
Yeah,
and then started cursing at my father-in-law for no reason. They were being jerks.
Yes.
Jerky teenagers. Insane if your kids were acting like this, by the way.
You mean to tell me that a bunch of 16 and 17-year-old kids were not as respectful as they should be?
Yes!
Shocked. I am shocked. I am shocked that they were all smart asses. I'm stunned.
From the text line, those kids were big mad.
They were crashing out,
That's what prompted Cody to tweet big mad last night.
Those kids are crashing out, Cody.
Honestly, what would you have done? You're just saying, by the way, our stance was we're not moving.
Yeah,
you
I
can
think
say
that's-
whatever you want here. We're sitting here, and you can be upset about it. We're not physically leaving
Yeah, I think
this
that
space.
I think in that scenario, that's unless there was a seat right to your left or something. Otherwise, it's like, well, we've been here the whole game. We're here to watch our daughter perform at halftime, so we're not going to move. You guys are going to have to move. And that, yeah, you just would have held your ground. Is that what you did?
Yes, absolutely held our ground. I didn't know what you would. The next step was. I couldn't believe the one because one was trying to talk the other kid down because the other kid was losing it. Again, incredibly. And then I had to tell a group of teenagers not to cut in line so I could get my kids some popcorn. It's like the fourth set of teenagers cut in line. I'm like, hey, you just gotta we can't do this all night. Like I gotta get my kid popcorn. Can you just get in line like a normal human being?
That one I probably would have let go.
For the fourth time in a row, it's insane. It was like 30 kids.
The popcorn cutting thing, I don't know if I would have cared as much. The other thing is ridiculous. So you were sick of the high school kids.
Oh man, I was done, dude. Done. And that was before I even realized. Now, they were all saying the normal terminology and all that other stuff. That was common.
Someone says valid crash out. Someone says it was Oak Park, kind of expected. Someone else says they picked up Cody, spun him around, and threw him over the fence.
Oh, no, that kid, the one kid who was talking the most trash, that kid's never been to fight in his life. He'd have got his ass whipped by anyone in the stadium. Are you nuts? That kid was like 110 pounds soaking wet. Talking a big game for a kid to be like, you guys got to all. He was yelling at the whole section to move. It was insane. If this is your kid, I ought to say right now, he needs some better behavioral skills.
You said one kid was trying to talk him down too.
Yeah, one kid was
dude,
trying
you
to
need
talk
to
him
relax, bro. Like you gotta.
Someone says you should describe like
Cody,
the principal that was watching the student section or something and taking
Cody,
care of it.
you should have said to that individual, you need to relax, bro. Or bro, relax. Like you should have definitely pulled out the bro, relax.
Stop having a crash out.
Yes. That would have been,
hey, we're gonna be here through halftime.
Bro, relax. Calm down.
And I couldn't make it more clear. It's like, we're going to be here for 5 minutes, and then we're gone anyway. So, like, you're throwing a hissy fit over legitimately nothing.
I think you were more, the stuff in the crowd, in the stands, I totally get where you're coming from, and that's ridiculous. The line cutting thing, you in particular cannot say a damn thing. Mr. Official line cutter of Kansas City, you cannot be complaining about the concession stand line cutting.
Control.
The stuff in the stands, though, the halftime performance, that is ridiculous. I'm not surprised that a bunch of punk high school kids were being smartasses.
These people got to be more respectful.
Were you guys worse behaved? Not around? Because, like, I was still a pretty respectful kid to adults, even though I was...
Oh, 100%. If it was an
trouble
adult,
I was as a teenager. If I was around an adult,
1,000,000%.
I was like intentionally, like maybe overly respectful, maybe more than I was to my own peers.
I'm with you. Someone else said, do you think Professor Tapp would be used to disrespectful teenagers?
I don't run into that problem.
No, you're right. Especially if it was somebody who was older, like you mentioned your father-in-law. Like if I would want to treat them like my grandparents, essentially. Like I would be like,
that's what would
I
tick me
understand
off
what
more.
you're saying. Like I think it wasn't the fact that it wasn't you, Cody. Really, it was your father-in-law. That was ridiculous.
His exact response, I believe, was, "Okay, now you're starting to piss me off. Like it's enough of like he like immediately was like, okay, we're like you're not gonna keep just trying to push us out of this section." But my favorite was the ownership. We let you sit here. Kid, I don't even, we can't even start. You're 16. You're not letting me sit anywhere. I'm an adult.
If it was your section, it would have been taped off, and people would have said, this is where all the students are sitting, and this is where you can't sit.
Not letting me sit anywhere.
Someone says you were Eddie Haskell from Leave It to Beaver in this scenario.
Yeah, I felt like an old man. It was old man yells at cloud during this moment in the high school football game. Gold, you strike me as someone who is very respectful to like the adults in your life.
I think
during
so.
That time,
yeah.
Kids, and yes, they do all say. Also, did you guys know very clearly based on this, digital cameras are back?
Huh?
10 to 12 different kids were having like small digital cameras, like the old point and shoots.
Why? Yeah. What's the thought process?
I can't tell you. I'm just telling you. 10 to 12.
They have a cell phone
kids,
that has like a 60 megapixel camera these days.
10 to 12 different kids had old style point and shoot digital cameras,
like a Kodak or whatever.
But what's the thought? It's not like it's
paper trail. A way to share with your friends and show friends photos that your parents can't see because they got your
paper
iCloud.
Trail. There's an SD card. In
yeah,
there.
but like not an iCloud, right? Your parent can't get a hold of the photos you've been taking at different places. I don't know.
But they can grab the parent can grab the camera.
I guess, but maybe that's like something they're not going to.
Like I get, for a while it was popular. People were using the Polaroids again because that was like something that people were starting to use again.
The vintage stuff.
I understand the vintage aspect. I don't get why someone would want a point and shoot digital camera in the year 2025.
What, like a Nikon or a?
Dude, it was a bunch of different ones.
See, someone says it's for vintage. Yeah, like the Polaroid thing. I get. Someone says you guys sound really old right now. That's fine. I
hadn't been around that many high schoolers at once.
I get why people like the Polaroid cameras still. I don't know what the point is of the digital camera. How they're wanting to take photos that look like bleep.
It might just be cool to have like the camera and feel like it's only for taking like I don't know. I think that might be part of the like I've got a point and shoot camera. I took on vacation with me.
I did say.
Oh, we got to thank you. When we get back from break, we have to. Multiple people have texted into the show and want me to ask you about it. I saw it as well on Saturday on our social media channels from the station. Thinking of cameras and looking on camera.
About this.
Interesting. I got some thoughts, some questions. We're going to get to that. Involves Drew. Plus, we'll talk more about Taekwon Thornton next.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Beautiful weather coming to Kansas City this week, and you could be sitting outside on your dream deck. Let's build your dream deck over at All Weather Decks. The right deck at the right price. I told you before, they'll do free estimates. It's a super easy process. I can't believe how detailed they were. All the different pictures of different projects, the way you can design these things to look like ones they've already built, which they've got a map over on allweatherdecks.net of everywhere they've done work in the area. Or they've got design pictures or a warehouse and a showroom so you can see these things and figure out exactly how you want it to look. If you've been looking at that outdoor space, a lackluster outdoor space, and trying to figure out how it could be your dream space, All Weather Decks could do that. Maybe you want the screened-in porch like I've got on my back porch. It is my favorite place to watch football during the season. Noon slate, red zone, outside, sitting there. It's perfect for that kind of weather. And you could have that space from a locally owned, locally operated company, easy to work with, easy to get a quote, free estimate, all of that stuff at All Weather Decks. Don't wait any longer. Give them a call, 913-206-1974, or online at allweatherdecks.net.
Around here, we've got each other's backs. When it comes to health insurance, we want that same kind of support. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City gets that. They're from around here, too. Backed by the national strength of the Cross and Shield, they help you make confident choices, no matter where you are. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are. That's the benefit of blue.
"98 years. That's how long Overhead Door Company of Kansas City has been repairing and replacing garage doors. Locally owned and operated since 1927. Headquartered in Olathe. Always look for the iconic red ribbon of the genuine, the original Overhead Door Company of Kansas City. For same-day repair service 24/7, call Overhead Door Company of Kansas City, 816-221-0072, or schedule online at ohdkc.com.
More than a few of our patients have talked to me about their first time, but it's not the first time you're probably thinking about. It's the first time that erectile dysfunction ruined the moment. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if you're over 50, it's likely that you've had that first time yourself. But the good news is that if you're like most men, that first time can be the last time that ED impacts your sex life. At Heartland Men's Health, we're experts in treating ED. We've treated tens of thousands of men using protocols with success rates well over 90%. And those treatments have, in most cases, made sex great again for both them and their partners. You could even find that you're performing like you haven't in years. So if ED has been affecting your intimacy, it's time to make the last time that happens the last time that happens. For just $99, you'll receive blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600. Or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
Football's back, and Underdog is the best place to select entries and win money all season long, and you can play right now in the state of Missouri. And playing on Underdog is easy. Just choose whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, receiving yards, interceptions, and more. Get your entries right, and you could win up to 5,000 times your cash. And you can play with as little as $1. I love the Underdog app, especially this time of the year. Multiple sports going on, combining entries from different sports into one selection is how I love playing on the Underdog app. So download the app today and sign up with promo code BOB to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5 with promo code BOB. Millions of fans have already won billions making plays on Underdog. Will you be next? Underdog. Make plays, win money. Must be 18 and over and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
Save up to $4,500 with Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter, thanks to limited time tax credits and special incentives on energy-efficient HVAC systems. But don't wait. Those federal tax credits expire after December. Upgrade your heating and cooling system, and you can enjoy lower energy bills and year-round comfort. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 five-star reviews are great reasons to trust Hamilton. Call 913-888-4262 for your free consultation. Visit callhamilton.com for details, terms, and conditions. License number 2025-11121.
Morning, Zoe. Got donuts.
Jeff Bridges, why are you still living above our garage?
Well, I dig the mattress, and I want to be in a T-Mobile commercial like you. Teach me, Saldana.
Oh, no, I'm not really prepared. I couldn't possibly. At T-Mobile, get the new iPhone 17 Pro. On them, it's designed to be the most powerful iPhone yet and has the ultimate pro camera system.
Wow, impressive. Let me try. T-Mobile is the best place to get iPhone 17 Pro because they've got the best network.
Nice, Jeffrey.
You heard them. T-Mobile is the best place to get the new iPhone 17 Pro on us with eligible trade-in in any condition.
So, what are we having for lunch?
Dude, my work here is done.
24 monthly bill credits on experience beyond for well-qualified customers plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Credits ended, balance due if you pay off earlier. Cancel. Finance agreement iPhone 17 Pro, 256 gigs, $1,099.99 and new line minimum $100 plus a month plan with auto pay plus taxes and fees required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Oak Cliff Speed Test Intelligence Data 1H2025. Visit T-Mobile.com.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. Also that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, want to hear something great? Right now at Wendy's, you can get 2 of the #1 selling bacon cheeseburger in all fast food, the JBC, plus medium fries and a medium soft drink for just $8. Want to hear something else great? Double the burger means double the bacon. Now that's a game changer. 2 of the #1 bacon cheeseburgers with fries and a drink for just $8. Gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Request $8 JBC meal deal to obtain discount. Individual items at regular price.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue.
Hey, it's Trent McDuffie. The Chiefs Radio Network pregame show starts 3 hours before kickoff right here on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
1 o'clock hour here on Cody and Gold. Don't forget Mondays, our lunch partner, our friends over at 30 Hop, $5.99 classic burgers, 30 Hop in Lee Summit, 30 Hop over in Merriam's Grand Station. You stop in for lunch, stay for a great happy hour, 30hop.com. That's 30hop.com. Local beer, American Eats, big patio.
Okay, so you teased something before the break.
Yeah, and then I want to talk about Taekwon Thornton because he deserves plenty of attention today with how he performed and where we go from here with Taekwon Thornton in this Chiefs offense. But somebody texted in earlier, and I saw it. It just wasn't the right time to talk about it because we were keying in on, I think, that point in time, I don't know, Travis Kelce combo or something. Someone texted in earlier, and it reminded me of something I saw Saturday, and I should have screenshotted, but I didn't. I think I
just texted it to you guys. I found the.
Okay.
You found it?
So somebody
you can watch the
commented or
video.
somebody-
Maybe
yeah.
mute your mic so it's not going over the air, but you can watch the video. So someone texted in and said, "Hey, I know there's a lot of stuff for you guys to talk about, but we cannot breeze by the ridiculous sunglasses Drew had on the station Instagram Live and story this weekend when he was talking about Missouri's
These
football."
are my sunglasses. Like
Someone said they opened it up and died laughing, and they described it, I think, accurately. Just majorly, maybe it was the angle, majorly oversized sunglasses, big fake diamond-studded earrings. No,
those are real diamonds?
No tank top this time. Last week you were in a tank top doing the video, which goes back to the selfie. And multiple people were laughing on the stream about it. What
those are very big sunglasses.
They're oversized. Here on the stream, I'll try to hold up the video as much as I can there.
If you want to see what it looks like over on YouTube.
These are the same.
What do we think, guys? What do we think? Cody, what do you think?
These are the same earrings that I wear.
Text line says, LOL, I saw this too.
I got to say, between the gigantic sunglasses and your hair looking big, you kind of look like an 80s female musician. Like, you kind of, like it just, I'm just like, and I think the angle.
You're saying I got a perm just for this?
Look,
you're saying.
I'm not saying, like, I think some of it might be the angle.
I think
the phone is too low.
I think that might be hurting you.
I think it's the angle.
But it's like, I don't know. It's an interesting look. It's not your best look, you know? Just as, like, for the camera angle or all
they
those
do
other
look
things.
like female sunglasses.
Those are ladies' frames, you know, the Seinfeld reference.
That's what it looks like.
Well, listen.
Are these your wife's sunglasses?
No.
Huh. Is that your most common? You wear a lot of different.
I wear these sunglasses all the time. I've worn these sunglasses.
Someone said we're just
we don't see sunglasses very often. In fairness,
right?
Because
True.
we're usually inside.
Someone
together.
said we're just glad that Drew has a shirt on for finally. That's true. That's true. If there was no shirt on, that thing would. Oh my goodness!
Is he going to just do one shirtless?
Someone says my buddy told me to watch the station's Instagram story. And we both got a huge kick out of it. Funky Drew, they said.
Funky Drew.
Over on Twitch, legendary lawyer says those look like my 3-year-old wearing my normal size sunglasses. Like
I can't read. I can't read some of these.
No, you can't. That one is out of pocket.
I don't know.
No, I do not drive that car. Somebody from the 913. I do not drive that car.
You drive a Kia, right?
Correct. I drive a Kia.
I don't know, man. It was an interesting look.
His boy George, a hero of his.
Drew, did you also say that you do own a digital camera, like a point and shoot?
For what? What do you like? The high school thing, I get it. We're just old.
He's younger he's considerably younger. He's 10 years younger than me, but I mean, he's 10 years away from these teenagers. Yeah. He's stuck in no man's land. He's still got the digital camera.
Well, it's because I think it shoots. It depends on the picture quality. Like, so I've got a Nikon. It shoots sometimes as good picture quality as the iPhone, as my current iPhone does. So I'll take the camera. I don't know. It just it's different. It doesn't feel like the same old everyday thing. I'm gonna go take a camera. And I'm just gonna intently take some pictures on the beach or whatever.
I have like a DSLR photo for like that. If I'm trying to take like a higher quality, better res photo, like I have like a real, not like a point and shoot. They're just using like the ones I would use in like high school, just like a deck of cards size, like point and shoot.
Yeah.
Before cameras on phones got
good enough. Yeah.
Yeah. There's some pretty bad ones there in the early going of phones, but you know what? Drew, do you, man? If you'd like to catch it, Drew does some stuff on our social media
on
pages
Saturdays, college football reaction. He was talking about Missouri. If you weren't too distracted by the earrings and sunglasses, he had some good thoughts on Missouri's win against South Carolina.
Somebody is suggesting that we start a station OnlyFans.
Well, if anybody was, it would be you. You've got the digital camera ready to go and everything. So,
It's a good point. All right, let's talk a little Taekwon Thornton.
Yes.
Who did have a tremendous game, the best of his pro career. He's already only 100 yards away from a career high in single-season receiving yardage. It's hard to remember this. Taekwon Thornton was a Sky Moore level bust for the Patriots. He was picked just a couple of picks apart. It was actually the Chiefs pick who selected Taekwon Thornton. They traded down with the Patriots. He was a Sky Moore level bust. He was a nothing for their franchise and did nothing for their franchise the entire time he was with them. He came here, we called him the camp darling, and I had pretty low expectations, admittedly, for Taekwon Thornton. I thought he could be a deep passing guy, thought he had a nice training camp. I've seen lots of guys have nice training camps that don't amount to stuff in the regular season. And while Xavier Worthy's injury and Rashee Rice's suspension are helping him do work, he's been a major contributor and the second best player in offense outside of Patrick Mahomes to this point. And that's not something I was expecting to say. It probably speaks poorly on the offense as a whole a little. But this isn't about him. He helped save their season yesterday by making several key important plays.
He absolutely did. And he is their best playmaker on offense right now. He's their most explosive player on the field until Xavier Worthy is back. he is that answer. And your hope is, of course, that you eventually get to see Worthy, Rice, Brown, and Taekwon Thornton on a football field. All of a sudden, that doesn't sound too bad. All of a sudden, you can talk yourself into maybe some things getting fixed. There's a ton of other issues, O-line, running game. We've been highlighting those today, and obviously we'll continue to do so throughout the week heading into the game against Baltimore. But Taekwon Thornton is going to have a role for this team all season long, and it only is going to increase in terms of the trust down the field and how many opportunities he gets because of what just happened last night. Now, I don't know, like, we can play the depth chart game. I don't really care where he ends up on the quote-unquote depth chart. Is he listed above Brown? I don't know if that matters, Cody. It's going to be when those guys are back, he is clearly going to be a guy, along with Worthy, those will be the two, that will be able to stretch the field. And that is something they have not had in a couple of years. And so having two players that now can stretch the field whenever that happens, you would like to think could allow Rice or Hollywood Brown or Travis Kelce to have a little more success underneath.
Wasn't Hollywood originally a stretch the field guy?
Correct.
He has not been that for the Chiefs.
What's crazy is he's played only a handful of games more, like 3 more games than Taekwon Thornton in his Chiefs career because of the injury, right? I mean, if you include the postseason, how many games has Hollywood Brown now played in a Chiefs uniform? 8?
Yeah,
7?
probably. And Taekwon's played 3.
I mean, so it's not much different. Taekwon Thornton, of course, has had a bigger impact to this point in time in his short period of time with the team. And last night, I agree with what you said. I think we were talking about earlier. That was a season-saving touchdown or catch. It was absolutely down at the 1 yard line. You know what I mean? But season-saving catch.
He had a touchdown on an absolute rifle from Patrick Mahomes.
3 big third down catches in the game last night.
Including the one that was a touchdown that I thought sealed the game and confirmed that the Chiefs were definitively going to win that versus had they kicked another field goal then and went up 12-6 instead of got the touchdown and actually got a sizable lead, a double-digit, a 2-score lead on them at the time, I might have felt a lot different about it. Look, Taekwon's got a role. I think he should get more targets than Hollywood Brown. He's got half as many catches as Hollywood Brown and almost identical number of yardage. That's because, and this is what's more important than anything, Taekwon Thornton's average yards per target is 25 yards per target. That is not, and look, their offense is not fixed. It's still got broken parts. There's a stat I'll give you tomorrow as part of the show that still points to some big issues that are part of the problem on offense. But when you look, one thing you and I know they did not possess last season was an ability to go downfield at all, Gold. They had 0 deep passing game. They were the worst big play offense in the entire NFL last year. They've been one of the worst big play offenses in the NFL for 2 years in a row. They didn't have a guy who averaged 25 yards a target. And now they do in Taekwon Thornton. He doesn't have to be a superstar. He doesn't have to be a 1,000-yard-a-year guy.
Yeah.
Can he be what MVS, and we can knock MVS all we want, was available to do at times for this team when they were good?
Yeah, the Taekwon Thornton element has been there since week 1. That's what's, even when they were really, really struggling against the Chargers, the one thing that they still had an opportunity to do was connect down the field. They just didn't connect. And so through 3 games, honestly, I would argue the most positive thing that has happened has been the fact that the offensive of game plan, as the game has gone on, whether you want to give credit to Andy Reid or Matt Nagy or whoever, they've been able to either scheme Taekwon Thornton open or just said, "Hey, dude, just go beat your guy and get open down, straight line, literally just run deep, and Mahomes will get it to you." And that's basically kind of what happened. And that is something that's been there each and every week. That's why I think it's real. It's not something fluky. That's going to be there all year for them. You can't even say well, there's film. They've had the Giants had
the only guy they're throwing
2 weeks of film on it, and I know the Giants secondary is not great. Well, they'll get Baltimore this Sunday, and obviously they got some better safeties in Kyle Hamilton, and that'll be a challenge for Kansas City, no doubt about it. But Taekwon Thornton is going to give them an opportunity each and every week to at least hit on one of those.
Those plays should be even easier when everyone's back. Like tape, 3 weeks from now, and Rashee Rice is technically in the facility starting today.
Yeah.
He can attend meetings and stuff like that. He can't practice yet. They obviously don't want to make a suspension longer than just the suspension. So they let you get back to some of the work so that when you are off suspension, it's like you didn't miss, you don't have to miss additional time.
Yeah,
right?
you're ready to go.
Yeah. So, but when they're back, Thornton's job, it's hard now. Who else are they really targeting? Travis is still like 2-3 catches a game. Hollywood's some catches, but there's a limit. And no Xavier Worthy back. Once Worthy and you're going to have to let Taekwon Thornton have one-on-one coverage sometimes. Because you're not going to just give up on covering Rashee Rice or Xavier Worthy. So, Taekwon's job should get easier. I question whether or not, and I think someone on Twitter, or someone over on Twitter last night had said it, And I'm trying to decide like how I envision his role. Like, is he just more explosive Justin Watson? 1 to 3 catches a game, but one of them's big? Because if that's an okay role for Taekwon Thornton.
Yeah,
I'm trying to decide where he is when people come back. Because Justin Watson was kind of their only big play, I guess, over the last couple of years. Not big play, but you get the point.
Yeah, I think, Mahomes clearly trusts him. So that's going to bode well also moving forward for Taekwon Thornton. In terms of actual targets and receptions, I don't think Taekwon's going to be a guy, whether guys are healthy or not, that's going to have, 6 or 7 catches for 95 yards and a touchdown. I think it's still going to be in that 2 to 4 catch range for hopefully 60, 70 plus yards and a touchdown. And you connect on a big one.
Yeah.
Like that's probably what
that is kind of how they played Justin Watson.
Last night he had 3 big catches on the third downs. I don't think he's going to get targeted 10 times. That's not the type of receiver he's going to be, and that's fine. He has a specific role, and it's going to be down the field, stretch the defense, and that's going to continue to be the case no matter who's healthy or not. That's going to be there all year for them.
Good find from Brett Veach. Look, we can talk about, honestly, not quite like Dorsey. Maybe this is a bigger picture conversation worthy of having, because we were talking about the Butker issues and obviously the money and the play they've gotten out of some of the guys they've spent a lot of money on. The long-term contracts is when things have been a little bit shaky for Brett Veach lately. Let's go find a guy and make him an immediate contributor to our team, like Drew Tranquil and Taekwon Thornton. They haven't had any trouble there. They found guys off the street to be a contributor to their team kind of right away. And Thornton's another example of that. They'd given up on him. He was cut off of a 3-14 Patriots team who, to be clear, had no other receiving options last year. Barely have any receiving options this year. And so, Thornton should have had an opportunity to, showcase some of that, and it didn't matter because they were done with him there.
Just another wide receiver injury to talk about outside the NFL, just to mention, at least from Adam Schefter. CeeDee Lamb suffered a high ankle sprain in their loss to the Bears. He is unlikely to play Sunday night against the Packers, according to Adam Schefter. They want to see how Lamb is doing the next 10 to 14 days before making further determinations about his status. So he's going to miss some time, and already a mess of a Cowboys team. Just some NFL news. Obviously, the Chiefs don't play the Cowboys till Thanksgiving or whatever. So, and he'll likely be back by then. But something to keep it on. The Cowboys are a disaster with that defense, and now their offensive playmaker, the number 1 playmaker, is going to be out for a game against the Packers team that just lost to the Browns. Good luck, Dallas. Good luck.
Historically, they're going to be motivated. And Micah Parsons reunion and all that other stuff.
Good luck, Jerry.
Historically, Jerry Jones has done the opposite of this. Brian Schottenheimer getting more than 1 year?
No way.
Is there any chance that Schottenheimer he's a one and done? It happens every once in a while. That's what I'm saying. It happens all the time in the NFL.
I think he gets your owner and GM traded away your best football player a week before the season. What do you expect? Their defense is absolutely abysmal. So unless they end up with a 3-win season, I think he'll be around for another year.
They're 1-2. They won a game.
They beat the Giants.
Oh, that's right.
And that 37 or whatever.
Overtime needed a field goal from Aubrey and OT, and
the over hit in that game.
It did. It definitely did. So anyway, just some NFL news there. The biggest positive on the other side of the ball is just that the incremental improvement has been there, and that is Steve Spagnuolo getting these guys not only lined up properly and all that. He's incredible. He really is. It's 8 quarters now in a row. The Chargers game was a disaster, but 8 quarters in a row where the defense has shut down top wide receivers. This isn't random wide receiver out there, that people like to mention all the time, like, this random guy out there just in the slot or whatever. No, we're talking about A.J. Brown. We're talking about
Malik Neighbors, who's coming off a massive game the week before.
Lowest career yardage total since he's been in the league and all that. Like, these are legit wide receivers right now that have been able to step up typically and have big-time performances, and they have shut them down. I thought Jalen Watson deserves a lot of credit right now for how they're playing.
Overall, it's the best unit on the field. And I mean, considerably better than just about any other unit on the field. The secondary and the defense as a whole.
Yeah.
After the first week in which Quentin Johnson got him, and they had a lot of blown coverages, not the kind of mistakes where they can't guard someone, they can't tackle someone. As in, they were just nowhere near the players for the Chargers, and they were just running free. Malik Neighbors, even after yesterday, is the 4th leading receiver in the NFL. So I mean and he didn't have a catch.
He's still 4th.
Yes.
Jeez.
And he didn't have a catch until late in the third quarter, and that was like a 4-yard slant or whatever it was. And so, the only guys who have more, Ricky Pearsall, Jackson Smith.
Game.
He just had a huge game. Jackson Smith and Jigbo's had a great start to a season. And Puka Nacua, who has been the leading wide receiver in the NFL pretty much from week one. And so when you look at what they've been able to do, I think it's more the talent's there. They have talent. Steve Spagnuolo is better than anybody at this. I'm assuming you guys saw the same thing I did. Next Gen Stats, they ran a split safety thing, which they never run, and nobody in the NFL runs. And they ran it 70% of the time, way higher than anyone runs. And it was clearly the smartest defense to run against Russell Wilson because they had absolutely zero answer for it. He confuses people more than anyone else in the NFL. He gets people off their game.
Game to game, his plan is different. His ability to adapt has been so great for Kansas City over the years. And you go from a game against Jalen Hurts where they blitzed, 64% of the time, I think it was, against Jalen Hurts, to now doing what you're saying, a completely different script. It's been really, really impressive. This is why they're going to have a chance even to win while they're trying to figure out this offense that is clearly going to still be a problem for weeks and weeks and weeks, even with the positive end of Taekwon Thornton, is that the defense will have a plan. Spags is going to give them an opportunity to be in the game. So we'll see what Baltimore looks like tonight against Detroit. The Ravens are home. I think they're like 4.5-point favorites. They've had good plans for Lamar in the past, too. And so on Sunday, you get the game at home. My guess is there will be some wrinkles that Spags has that makes things difficult. Doesn't mean Lamar won't have some big plays.
Lamar's great. Yes.
Lamar's an unbelievable player.
And Zay Flowers is another test. He's 10th in the NFL, or 12th in the NFL in receiving yards right now. He's actually the second highest average yards per game in the NFL. So if he keeps that up, he'll be the second leading receiver after tonight.
I'm really interested to see if Isaiah Likely will be back for that game because he's not playing tonight. He hasn't played all year.
Nope.
Is he back for that game against the Chiefs? Where last year in that first game, he was really, really effective.
Is he going to have the different color shoe this time so he doesn't get that was the whole thing. Mahomes was like, wear white shoes next time, man.
They still would have gotten him on the line, I think, but I get the point.
I don't know.
It was close.
I don't know. I mean, that'll come up again later in the week, I'm sure. I just think Steve Spagnuolo, while they still don't have a great pass rush, they're still having to come up scheme-wise with ways to get pressure on the quarterback, Cody. This defense, the fact that they go from week one to what they did to Jalen Hurts, giving up 101, 110 yards, to then what they just did against Russ. And I know Russell Wilson is a shell of himself from what he was before. He did throw for 450 the week before.
Yeah, right? But he was the leading passer through 2 weeks.
He was awful last night. A lot of that was the Chiefs and their ability to do it. So I think the defense will continue to get a little bit better, and they're going to have to if this offense is going to still struggle the way it obviously is.
Credit to them. They keep trying to solve their cornerback issues, and their cornerback issues seem to be solved by if Jalen Watson is healthy, they can cover. Right? Like they go after Christian Fulton, they go after these other guys, they try other players in the middle of last season. They were bouncing between Joshua Williams and a million other guys and Najee Johnson. And as simple for them is if Jalen Watson is healthy, they can cover. They can move people around, and he is enough of a swing guy and a good enough corner that they can let Trent McDuffie do whatever he wants, just as long his health has been a huge factor in whether or not their coverage skills hold up. Like, he is an important player for them. Not to mention, they were not a single one of those deep passes from Russell Wilson was close to being completed.
No.
They were all closer to being completed to a Chiefs player.
He got greedy. He got impatient and started to take some shots that just were not there. Yeah. You know, they were trying to run the football, and Russ wanted, he can't help himself. He wanted to go down the field. That's what he's done throughout his entire career. And there were some bad throws. And fortunately, the Chiefs took advantage of those opportunities. The other player, once again, that now I think has solidified at least a nickel corner role is Noel Williams, the rookie.
He plays hard-nosed football. He's a bit sloppy. Physical. He makes some mistakes, but he's a physical guy.
Yeah.
I like that.
There might be a time where he gets called for a penalty that's, like that might happen as he learns the position more. But Spags has got these guys playing better football. This is what he consistently does. And my guess is as the season goes on, we'll be saying, this player's having a much better season. The question is, can he get the pass rush going? It was an issue last year, too.
I thought that was part of their decision to do Omar Norman-Lott. And again, they're missing Dana, who's not a great pass rusher, but he's been one of their more consistent guys over the last couple of years. The biggest problem they've had is Charles Omenihu, who's a no-show. 3 games into the season, Charles Omenihu is a no-show.
I agree.
He has not been a player that has mattered in any of the 3 games. The first time his name got called in the last game is when he was dinged up in the middle of it. And so their biggest issue right now is that their outside pass rush help opposite George Karlaftis is a non-existent player. You can't. I mean, you're not going to survive that way. Karlaftis has been a little below his normal play, but a mini who-no showing is a bigger problem.
Monday's football coverage presented by Busey Bank, where they're focused on your success. At Busey Bank, they've been building businesses and growing wealth since 1868. Learn more at buseybank.com. All right, we'll get a little what's trending in. We'll talk about the future quarterback maybe for the Giants. And what are we expecting tonight? The Chiefs' future opponent plays the Lions this evening.
Kind of looked like an 80s female musician.
What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? It's Creed Humphrey. You're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays 10 to 2 on your home for Chiefs football, 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
What matters to you matters to us. That's why Busey Bank takes the time to understand your goals and build solutions that fit your story. From everyday banking to long-term planning, our team is here to help you navigate every stage with care and expertise. We're more than a bank. We're your neighbor, your advisor, and your advocate. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
Fall's the best time of year to clean up the outside of your home or business, and the best way to do that is with a fresh coat of paint from my friends at CertaPro Painters. You want your home or business to make a great impression, and that starts with the exterior. And when you choose CertaPro Painters, you're choosing the best in the business for your job. CertaPro Painters go the extra mile. If there's a way to save you money, they'll let you know, and they take care of every detail from start to cleanup. So do what we did and schedule your free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated.
Danon Hughes here. I've seen a lot of stat lines in my playing days, but these numbers, they caught my attention. Flight by Yingling. 2.6 carbs, 95 calories, and all the crisp, refreshing flavor you want in a light beer. It's brewed by the oldest brewery in America, so you know it's got some serious history behind it. If you're into stats and taste, you're going to love this beer. Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer and the official beer of Danon Hughes. DG Yingling & Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because we know you love working weekends. If it means working on your dream home, both inside and out. And we're here to help protect those dreams so you can enjoy peace of mind. Save up to 40% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Some exclusions apply. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
Here we go.
This week, it's a must-see matchup as Lamar and the Ravens visit Mahomes and the Chiefs.
Oh my goodness.
Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today.
DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is coming soon to the Show Me State. New Missouri customers can download the DraftKings Sportsbook app today. And when we go live, place just a $5 bet to unlock $300 in bonus bets. Starting November 17th, you can create your DraftKings Sportsbook account in Missouri and get ready for launch day on December 1st. DraftKings Sportsbook brings you everything you need to elevate your game day, including live in-game betting, lightning-fast payouts, and endless ways to get in on the action, all right from your phone. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and grab $300 in bonus bets with just a $5 bet when we go live December 1st. In partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 and over. Physically present in Missouri. Eligibility restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Excludes customers who redeem pre-launch sign-up offer. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos.
Hi, I'm Lacey, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. And yes, I'm actually a jeweler. I bring dream engagement rings to life every day in our jeweler's workshop. When I hand set your diamond into your ring, I think about creating a piece you'll wear for a lifetime. I pay attention to the smallest details and treat every ring with the same care and craftsmanship, no matter the size or price. Come check us out at your nearby store. Our engagement rings are made with love from our hands to yours, because a friend knows your love deserves the highest quality. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Arvest Bank believes in the power of serving others. That's why we're committed to supporting those who serve our communities. We believe that all communities deserve a financial partner who cares. Arvest. We believe.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Today, we're constantly taking photos and videos to remember our favorite moments. But what about those captured before the smartphone? What about the memories tucked away on aging VHS tapes, film reels, or in fading photos?
These cherished memories are fading away with time, vulnerable to threats like heat, moisture, and mold. But fear not, there's a solution to safeguard your legacy. Hi, I'm Adam.
And I'm Nick. Together we founded Legacy Box over a decade ago with one mission, to bring your memories into the 21st century.
It's time to bid farewell to old tapes you can't watch and faded photos. Legacy Box transforms them into digital treasures, ready to share with a click.
Just like magic, your shoebox of memories is now safely stored in the cloud or on a thumb drive.
Over 1 million families have trusted Legacy Box, so you can rest assured your priceless moments are in good hands.
Don't let your childhood fade away on old tapes. It's time to digitize those priceless moments.
Fast forward into the digital age. Visit legacybox.com/value and unlock 50% off your order. That's legacybox.com/value.
Thank you for making Total Wine & More America's #1 online source for spirits, beer, and wine. Better than all those delivery apps. Total Wine's prices are up to 30% lower with super fast delivery and no hidden fees. Order direct at TotalWine.com and pay less today.
Drink responsibly, B21.
It's Pro Savings Days at Lowe's. Get up to 35% off select major appliances and save an additional $1,000 when you buy 4 select LG major appliances. Plus, get a free DeWalt 20-volt max 5 amp-hour battery when you buy a select DeWalt 20-volt max tool. Get the job done for less at Lowe's. We help, you save. Valid through 9/26. Selection varies by location while supplies last. See associate or Lowe's.com for more details and qualifying items.
Thank you for making Total Wine & More America's #1 online source for spirits, beer, and wine. Better than all those delivery apps. Total Wine's prices are up to 30% lower with super fast delivery and no hidden fees. Order direct at TotalWine.com and pay less today.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Chiefs coverage sponsored by Renner Garage Door. RENNER forward and back.
Hey, it's almost Andy Reid. Renner Garage Door has proudly served our community for decades. The best styles, technology, and family values. That's Renner. Get your free repair or replacement quote today. Forward and back.
RENNER, RENNER.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. What's trending?
Number one on What's Trending, of course, the Chiefs got a much-needed win to get in the win column in the 2025 season with their 22-9 win against the Giants last night. For once, Patrick Mahomes did not lead this team in rushing. That was Isaiah Pacheco on 10 carries, had 45 yards. Taekwon Thornton, the leading receiver for the Kansas City Chiefs. They now get set to take on Baltimore, and we'll be talking more about that game here in just a second. The Ravens host the Detroit Lions tonight, so chance to see a little bit more about Lamar Jackson and company this evening.
In a weird way, I think I'd rather the Ravens win. I don't want them feeling this pressure of being 1-2, the same as Kansas City, to try to save their season because they let that game against Buffalo get away from them. Just from like a motivation standpoint. But the Ravens are going into that game thinking about the Chiefs game the same, I guess, either way. Next up on What's Trending, a lot of injuries in the NFL in Week 2. I already told you James Conner and Najee Harris are expected to be done for the season because of their injuries. Nick Bosa, just minutes ago, Adam Schefter reporting that Nick Bosa does in fact have a torn ACL. According to Kyle Shanahan, who spoke to media today, he's expected to be gone for the entire season as well. CeeDee Lamb has a high ankle sprain. He's expected to not be checked out for at least 2 weeks. Over for the Dallas Cowboys. So massive injury news. Is it fair at some point for the 49ers, if you're the most injured team 3 years in a row, am I allowed to ask if you got a bad training staff? Or a coach who makes you play too much hurt? Or like something's going on there.
Yeah, but
you can't be the most injured team every year.
I know, but like Bosa ACL injury, I mean, it's the same knee that he had one in before, and it just, I mean, ACL injury can just happen.
You're more prone to have them after you have it once, I think.
I know, but they're the most injured team 3 years in a row.
Oh, no,
they don't have
for
their
sure.
starting quarterback. They don't have their starting
question.
tight end. They don't have their starting defensive end. They don't have starting wide receiver. They're hurt again. They're just hurt.
Because didn't Brock Purdy had the elbow thing last year, and now he's got the toe thing. Yeah, it's
something's going on there. Maybe it's just in the water. I don't know. Or maybe they need to lay new sod. I don't know. But either way, something's going on in San Francisco. A lot of injuries.
College football over the weekend. KU got a win easily over West Virginia to open up Big 12 play there at the booth. Missouri with a crucial win against South Carolina in SEC play. We're going to talk more about the Tigers and the Jayhawks tomorrow on a Tuesday, and we'll also have Drew give us an update on the national college football scene as well with some of the results, including a little shakeup in the Heisman race. At least there's a new quarterback that has the second best odds. Probably a stunner for a lot of people. Probably not a name anybody's really ever heard of.
Still no Missouri players, which is kind of crazy given how Ahmad Hardy's been playing.
I was about to say, that'd be the one. If you were going to have a Missouri player on the list right now, it'd be Hardy. He's been incredible. Next up on What's Trending, Bruce Pearl is expected to step down as Auburn's head coach. Could be as soon as immediate, according to multiple reports. I think Pete Thamel had it first over there. He's expected to, I don't know about name, but his son, Stephen Pearl, is expected to take over as Auburn's head coach. They made the Final Four last year. They're without their best player, but they made the Final Four last year, and they're in the SEC. Hell of a job for his son to step into. Multiple rumors say he might run for political office. We'll see. Yeah. He's obviously gotten plenty of TV work before and is actually pretty good at it. So we'll see if that's a part of his plan as well. But he's stepping down just weeks before the college basketball season starts, obviously, so his son could get the job. That's why he's waiting.
That's the timing of it. Yeah. And it does sound like there's some thought that there's a real opportunity for him, perhaps, when it comes to politics and things like that. That is what's trending here on Cody and Gold. We'll talk about the Ravens in just a little bit. But when we were mentioning Russell Wilson's performance, I don't know what the incentive is at all if you're the Giants to not start Jackson Dart moving forward. Like,
you got it.
What's the point of not doing that?
Those last 3 plays from Russell Wilson alone would have made me start Jackson Dart. He threw 3 passes that had 0% completion chance to any wide receiver who wasn't 14 feet tall.
Brian Dable was shaking his head on those 4th downs a couple times. You got to give your team a chance. You got to throw the football. You can't just run it and be short of the line of scrimmage or the first down marker. You can't do that.
Well, and also, like, if you're Brian Dable, what's there to lose? You're going to lose your job the way this is going. You're 0-3. Your team stinks. Your quarterback stinks. Your defense stinks. And if you're going to lose your job. If you just keep starting Russell Wilson, you're fired. And the GM's fired too. They kept them all, which is insane in its own right. But you're all going to get fired. So if Jackson Dart happens to be good and he makes your team look a lot better, maybe there is some miracle land, Gold, in which you get to stay employed. And for every perspective, that Malik Neighbors is unhappy, your team looks disinterested, and you've lost every game. And I get it. I could make an argument you could have beaten the Chiefs because it was 6-6 almost at halftime, although you were clearly an awful team yourself. Certainly could have beaten the Cowboys. You're 0-3. Start Jackson Dart this week. Don't even waste any more time. What a waste of time it would be to start Russell Wilson for one more game. We probably watched the last start Russell Wilson makes as a full-time NFL starter. He's not getting another gig.
I know he had 450 yards the week before. That saved his job for a week. But now your team's 0-3, so you're going nowhere. You might as well start going forward. And Brian Dable, you're a sitting duck at this point, right? Like, you're a lame duck coach, and most people believe you're going to get fired at the end of the season. The question is, will you get fired in season? I think going to Jackson Dart might save his job in season at least.
Maybe. But, here's the thing. Maybe Jackson Dart is C.J. Stroud, and, I don't know this. Rookie quarterbacks come from a lot of different ways.
Hopefully he's not this C.J. Stroud. Hopefully he's the one from 2 years ago.
He's rookie season C.J. Stroud. He's rookie season Justin Herbert. Whatever. The guys who burst onto the scene immediately, and all of a sudden you scratch out 7-8 wins. Maybe you could talk your boss into letting you have a job.
No, that'd be a mistake there.
Of course, it'd be a huge...
If the Giants did that, man. They did it for Daniel Jones.
They're already stupid enough to keep Brian Dable and the GM hired after this year. So they're definitely dumb enough to do it. So give yourself a chance to actually keep your job. You cannot keep your job and start Russell Wilson. So, who are you doing it for? Just to keep Russ happy? Did you make him a promise?
You heard it. You heard it last night. Anytime they brought in Dart for a special package, they cheered. And then when they would bring Russell Wilson back in, the fans would boo Russell Wilson as he was walking back on the field. If you're a Giants fan, all you've seen is losing here for a while. The only hope you have is that Jackson Dart's that guy. You don't want to see Russell Wilson. You don't want to see Jameis Winston either.
They gave him 2 red zone snaps too.
Yes.
And look, based on the way that thing finished, I don't blame him. Also, should the Bengals trade for Russell Wilson? Maybe they could have Russ.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
Let's get or Jameis, honestly. Both would be better than Jake Browning.
If we're talking entertainment, Jameis Winston with those guys.
Dude,
I mean, every stat line would be 400 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. It would be every game.
Drew, if your team's going to stink, I can speak from experience. If your team's going to stink, they might as well be fun to watch. Like, I'm just saying, they might as well be entertaining. And right now, the last game from actually Cincinnati's offense the entire year has been
bad.
They have the Bengals have the Broncos, the Lions, the Packers, the Steelers, the Jets, then the Bears coming up. Now, they are in first place currently at September 22nd, but obviously they don't have a starting quarterback.
Are they tied for first? What's the Steelers record?
They're tied for first. Yes, they're tied. They got a better conference record, I believe, which is why they're
tiebreakers. Week 3. Ooh. Those are big. 2-1 Steelers, and then obviously the Ravens could go 2-1 tonight if they win. What are you looking forward to that game tonight? We'll talk more about it tomorrow, obviously, because it's the Chiefs' opponent. First off is I want to see how good Baltimore, like first and foremost, how good is Baltimore's defense operating, and how good are they operating on the defensive line on the possibility that Madubuike maybe is not available next week too, because the Chiefs' offense needs any help it can get. So I'm paying a lot of attention to how they look on the defensive side of the football and which areas they are weak, because that's where the Chiefs are going to need some assistance. I'm not saying I'm not watching Zay Flowers and these other guys, but I am curious how their defense plays.
Yeah, I think that's the area that is more vulnerable. We saw it last year. You kind of know what you're getting from Lamar. You know what you're going to get from Derrick Henry. I will say, though, do the Ravens establish anybody else in the receiving game besides Zay Flowers after tonight? You know, that you're worried about, because Zay Flowers is who's getting 90+% of targets, I feel like, in that offense.
Maybe DeAndre Hopkins?
Maybe tonight's the night where DeAndre Hopkins, they need somebody else to complement Zay Flowers in the passing game. If all of a sudden D-Hop goes off tonight for the Ravens and they have Flowers, well, then the Chiefs got more guys to worry about and all that, and it becomes more of a problem. But I told you, I have confidence right now in the defense and with their ability to shut down some top wide receivers. They did that. So I think the running game for the Chiefs, how much they've faced Derrick Henry, I don't know how many times at this point in their
and they do a good job against
and Spags has gotten. They typically have a decent plan. They get a good plan for Barkley, good plan for Derrick Henry. But yeah, what's the linebacking and defensive line look like for the Ravens tonight against a Lions team? I don't know about you guys. Maybe it'll be a weird game, but it feels like this should be a high-scoring game tonight. That's the assumption. Jared Goff, the Lions just scored 50. The Ravens just scored 40 or whatever it was against 40, Cleveland.
The Ravens also gave up 40 to the Bills in the first game of the season.
And Cleveland's defense looks pretty tough. So, to drop 40 on them now, in fairness, it was the fourth quarter. That game was very low scoring and in the teens, and then they let just kind of a runaway game happen on them, which happens in the NFL sometimes, especially if you're a bad football team. So, part of it is certainly that. But, yeah, I mean, look, the truth is, I think despite the fact I understand it hurts their standings in the AFC, I think I kind of want the Ravens to win. I don't want the Ravens coming into Arrowhead feeling like they are in a must-win situation. As in, lose this game to the Chiefs and we're 1-3 and we are in trouble. Not like in trouble to miss the playoffs.
No, but both teams will be in that same spot.
No, but I don't want both teams. I want just one team to feel like they're in that spot. Yeah, Kansas City. I don't want Baltimore feeling like they're in this, better win the game tonight. If they're 2-1, they don't have to come into the game in the headspace of, if we lose this game, we're 1-3 and we've set ourselves way the hell back in the AFC. All because they let that game against the Bills get away from them.
Yeah, they would have losses in that scenario if they lose, to Chiefs and the Bills at that point in time and have no chance at any tiebreakers. I think I agree with you on what's at stake. I don't know if this early in the season, if that's the Ravens' mindset. They're going to Arrowhead. They've played the Chiefs. They lost to them in the playoffs a couple times over the last few years as well. I don't know if that's would be my worry that you're playing a desperate Baltimore team. I just think, again, we know with the Chiefs, their issues that they have. Every single game is going to be tight. I understand they won by 13 last night, but that game was still close, even though they beat the Giants 22-9. And so, the Ravens game is going to be very, very tough. They're going to have to be more like what they were in the second half offensively. Clearly, if they have any sort of performance like the first half offensively against Baltimore, the Chiefs are going to be in big, big trouble.
The game will be over.
Sunday.
They won't even get to the second half of the football game. They're going to have to play a lot better football than they've played in any of the 3 games to beat Baltimore this week. But I also just don't want, in addition to that, Baltimore to be hungry. Because they have let a game get away from them. They let this Lions game get away. They are staring down the barrel of 1-3. And that doesn't mean that Baltimore will miss the playoffs. I think they're just too good of a team. I think Lamar Jackson's too good. A million other reasons why.
I think if the Chiefs weren't 1-2 as well, I would hear you out more on it. The Chiefs are they know what's at stake as well. I mean, they're going to be playing still backs against the wall for quite some time. They're still only a 1-2 football team. The Chiefs still, are in danger of falling to 1-3.
Can they breathe at 3-3? Would you lock in 3-3? I would. If I told you 6 games in, they're 3-3.
Well, now I would, yeah. Knowing that they're 1-2 and Baltimore is coming up, absolutely.
And Detroit.
Yeah.
We have to watch both of these opponents tonight. Detroit's their opponent 3 weeks from now. The last game before Rashee Rice gets back.
Yeah.
Both of these are teams they have to face in the next 3 weeks. They've just got Jacksonville squeezed in between them. This is a huge matchup of future Chiefs opponents.
It is.
Tonight.
No, it should be a good game. I'm excited for Monday Night Football.
Somebody said, I just realized the Chiefs actually covered the points.
They did.
It had been a while, hadn't it?
Yeah, since I think the divisional round last year, maybe, or something like that. Last time they covered. But the Chiefs are 2.5, 3-point underdogs already, depending on what happens tonight against Baltimore. So this will be now the back-to-back home games from Mahomes an underdog. It'll be 3 of Mahomes starts now. That'll be an underdog. It'll just be the third time, and he is not covered in the prior 2.
Yeah, he's
and they've lost. Yeah, they've lost outright the prior 2.
Yep, they lost to the Bills, and then obviously they just lost to the Eagles. So now that is not a big enough sample size to make any determination.
This will be his 70th game at home, and this will be the third time he's an underdog.
But in fairness, again, we said this after the first one. Vegas has been right the 2 times. Like the 2 times they've been right. They said Mahomes was a home underdog, and they were correct. He should have been a home underdog. It was games that they lost. I just think more important than Baltimore, we understand they're just going to have to not make mistakes. They made so many mistakes in these first 3 games. I don't even think they can play the way they played against New York for 4 quarters and win.
Well, not for 4. Yeah, I mean, that's
like if I'm
that
counting
first
the first
half was terrible.
Not to beat a dead horse or whatever on the end of this thing, but like
Peter's going to come after you.
I can't say that.
I mean, did you see? I only bring that up
Isn't
because
that a saying?
The ridiculousness. I don't know if you guys saw. There was an article out today. Peter's upset with Tom Brady.
Why? What did he say?
So now,
I did not see this.
So I'll admit, Tom Brady. I don't know what phrase. Like we've all heard the
the one I just said.
Well, that one or kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Okay,
sure. Common ones.
At one point, when George Pickens was throwing his helmet around, Tom Brady was like, sometimes you throw your helmet around or you kick the dog. You're like, what? But that's what he said. So then PETA, they complain about everything, but PETA is not happy with Tom Brady. They said he should be more careful. But then they also, in the same press release, sent out like examples of other phrases they want people to stop using. And one of them was kill 2 birds with 1 stone, or what Cody said.
What's their replacement for?
I don't know. But it's funny you said that because
that's the proper follow-up.
Yeah, PETA's not happy.
What do you suggest we say instead?
This is why nobody takes them seriously, because it's like the dog one, I'll admit, was kind of weird from Tom Brady, whatever.
Yeah, no one's ever said that sentence before.
But kill 2 birds with 1 stone, like, okay, what are we freaking out about? Beating dead horses.
It's the same reason why we were concerned about we were trying to get the peacock in studio.
Feed 2 birds with 1 scone.
That's not a saying. Feed 2 birds with 1 scone.
That is a saying. That is a saying.
Come on. They expect me to say that with a straight face? Feed 2 birds with 1 scone? Can't we just make it non-animal?
That's their point. That's what Pete is saying.
Instead of bigger fish to fry, they said bigger fish to free.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my God. Instead of beat a dead horse, their suggestion is feed a fed horse.
Oh God. It just doesn't have the same ring to
Not
it.
trying to feed a fed horse.
It doesn't sound the same.
I totally agree. If you're gonna have give me
at least get some good ones.
Give me another saying that doesn't have anything to do with animals. How about that? Huh?
They have not provided a better alternative. The Tom Brady one was weird. I don't know why he said or throw a helmet or kick a dog. That was weird. I don't know.
A big fish.
Somebody said instead of take the bull by the horns, they suggest you say take the flower by the thorns.
Oh, no, okay.
That's what.
Those aren't the same things.
Yeah, it sounds painful.
Feed 2 birds with 1 scone.
Yeah.
Instead of, they just have so many of them. Instead of saying a feather in your cap, I can't even say a feather in your cap.
The bird might still be alive.
This
just
is
lost
why
a feather.
you can't
say a flower in your cap.
You can't take them seriously because of this kind of stuff.
I finally found one that I think is better, or at least as good as the original saying. They said instead of ants in your pants, say itches in your britches. Fine. I like that one equally as much as ants in your pants. Are you happy? Itches in your britches is just as funny as ants in your pants. I'll give you that one.
It's not. It's not necessarily cringe, but if you say anytime you refer to pants as britches, you were born. No offense to my parents, pre-1965.
Man, yeah, Itches in your britches is it. I'll give him that one.
You are
That's all
60
you're getting from me,
plus
Peter.
if you are saying, if you're referring to pants as britches.
I'm telling you, Peter, though, I could swat a fly in the studio, and if you sent a video and went viral, they would go after me.
When we tried to get a Peacock in studio, the
We
guy
could.
straight up.
That's what I was saying. Yeah,
that guy straight up told us, I cannot bring a Peacock in studio. PETA will ruin my life. That was pretty much word for word what the guy said when they were going to have the first playoff game streaming on Peacock.
We made
He
a
said he
phone
couldn't
call,
bring it
and
in.
there was a genuine concern
But
about
there
what
was-
could come of it.
TMZ had an article this morning that they were mad with Tom Brady.
I mean, I was trying to say is if this wasn't my job, like if I didn't have to watch the Chiefs game for a living, that's the closest I got to. I'm just going to turn this game off and I'm not going to finish watching it. I'm done watching this football. That first half of the Chiefs game, I'm like, I'm done watching this football. This is unenjoyable.
I never
don't
turn the
want
game off,
to see it. This is bad football, and I'm not interested.
Oh, it was bad football, but I wasn't, whether I was doing sports talk radio for a living or just a Chiefs fan, I wasn't going to turn the game off. But
you turn off, if that was a game that involved two teams that you didn't like, you're on to Netflix.
Yeah, but on a primetime game, I'll watch. Like if it was the 3:25 kickoffs that are terrible, there's plenty of those where I'll check out when they're bad. Arizona versus San Francisco is always seemingly that game. By the way, this one ended up being better, but
it's a Netflix
if it's a primetime game, I'm more likely to stick through a bad primetime game. But it was bad football, plain and simple.
We have a different philosophy on Thursday or Sunday Night Football. If that was Sunday Night Football and it was two other teams, I'm out. The second halftime clicks over, I'm like, well, I'm not going back to that game unless it's interesting later, which seems unlikely based on the fact that this is one of the least interesting things I've ever seen in a half of football.
Yeah.
At least Patrick Mahomes made that one play before half. That brought me a little juice. He had to dodge two defenders, run all the way to the sideline, and did an F it, he's down there somewhere ball for the first time it seemed like forever.
The DPI play works, man.
Hell yeah.
Should try it a few more times.
A lot of the good plays, I was keeping track, I don't know how many of them there were. A lot of the good plays that the Chiefs had came against Phillips, number 22 for the Giants. Did not have a very good game, whether it was the PI, whether it was the catch for Taekwon in the end zone, whether it was the catch that almost got him into the end zone. I mean, it was 22 for the Giants was featured in a lot of those mistakes.
And Taekwon down to the one, he was interviewed on that play. He was mugged on that reception and still made the catch.
Oh yeah.
So they missed a few, but the Hollywood one, that's easy. He shoved him to the ground. They're not gonna.
Oh yeah, nobody's complaining about that call. That's just.
I saw one Giants fan complain about it, but that's also just the league is rigged for the Chiefs people. I guess mistakenly missed the 14 non-false start calls from the previous week or whatever. I didn't see, by the way. Did they get called for a false start on?
I don't think they did, but the Saints got called for one.
This is funny. The Saints got penalized. The Eagles, there were still times where the Eagles were leaving early and they didn't call it.
So just nothing. Just not doing it.
Nothing really changed, yeah. Again, the change will be in the offseason when they ban it. That'll be the change.
Yeah, whatever. It is what it is now. They'll just
wait
till the offseason, get the one additional. That's it, by the way. One additional vote you need. Get that thing banned. The play can't be officiated. Just get rid of it. Just get rid of it. Who's the worst team in the NFL in your mind? Think it's the Saints? I'm just watching a highlight.
It might be. Them or the Titans, probably.
It's probably the Saints. Yeah, it's probably the Saints because of who they've played to.
They've played a tough schedule.
Quarterback-wise, they've played Sam Darnold, Mac Jones, and week one.
Did they play the Raiders week one? Bengals? Who did they play?
No.
Oh, my gosh.
Who did the Saints play?
Arizona.
Oh, Arizona.
So Kyler Murray's the best quarterback they faced, and they're 0-3.
But they played competitive football for
in the first one.
Those games.
The first one, they actually had a chance to win.
Yeah, they got whipped by Seattle. That wasn't even close.
Sam Darnold, 44 points on the board. My goodness.
There were 3 or 4 blowouts yesterday.
Yeah.
Like pure blowouts. Talking 30.
Washington, that one, and the Bengals game were all just.
And then Seattle beat the Saints 44-13, and then the Panthers beat the Falcons 30-0.
Yeah, what the hell happened there? Michael Penix no good? We can
get
it
rough
tomorrow.
Yeah,
the Colts destroyed the Titans as well. There were multiple teams that put up 40 points over the weekend.
Do we just need to do nothing but the rest of these